Chapter 196. Trouble is brewing, heart demon. Nothing major happened, the matter has calmed down for now, coming to an end. But according to my guess, this is only the Qin family's first probe. Lu Changsheng took out 2 flasks of jade bamboo wine from his storage bag, handed one to Li Feiyu, and then continued speaking. I have mentioned to you before that the situation of the Lu family ancestor is not optimistic. At that time, I thought it would take at least 4 or 5 years before the Lu family would start to become unstable. But this incident has served as a wake-up call for me. I feel that it won't be long before the Lu family will face a second and third wave of troubles, conflicts. So I think there's no need to delay the trip to the secular world any longer. It's better to take advantage of the current lull and send Pingon and the others to the secular world. Moreover, given the situation at the Lu family, it's better for you to leave as well. You are a free agent, free to leave at any time. As for your wives and children, I can go talk to the family head and try to arrange for them to join you. At that time, you can join me in sending your wives and children to the secular world. What do you think? Lu Changsheng laid out all of his thoughts. On the one hand, he was reminding his good brother to make an escape. On the other hand, he was hoping that after Li Feiyu settled his family in the secular world, he would help look after the children and continue to teach them martial arts. Although there were arrangements made by Hong Yi in the secular world, he trusted Li Feiyu even more. No problem, I'll listen to you, let's do as you said. I appreciate your help with this. After hearing these words, Li Feiyu pondered briefly before nodding in agreement. He also knew that if the Lu family truly faced a crisis, it would be too late for him to escape. Though leaving the Lu family meant losing the cultivation benefit of the spiritual vein-blessed land, decisions had to be made according to the situation. Moreover, he had already planned to leave the Lu family and strike out on his own once he broke through to the 4th level energy refinement. Not long ago, he had made this breakthrough. Only, he had been hesitant because his children were too young, and he was planning to wait a few more years. Now that Lu Changsheng was willing to resolve this worry for him, he had no more concerns. We don't need to stand on ceremony. I also hope that when you are in the secular world, you will continue to look after Pingon and the others for a few years. After all, they will need time to adapt once they reach the secular world. As their father, I can't always be by their side. Lu Changsheng exhaled lightly as he spoke. Although he had mentally prepared for it, the true prospect of sending his children to the secular world, a world apart from the divine, inevitably made him feel somewhat sentimental. Rest assured, I will take good care of the children, Li Feiyu said, his voice firm. He then added, but what about you? What are your plans? My involvement with the Lu family is quite deep. I can't just leave whenever I want. After all, the Lu family has been kind to me, and under the current circumstances, it's not possible for me to just walk away. So, I plan to continue to watch and wait. If the Lu family manages to safely get through this, then that's all for the best. If not, they will be too busy to attend to me when the time comes. Lu Changsheng spoke. Although there was still a contract between him and the Lu family, what bound him now was no longer just a contract. It was the affection developed over many years with the Lu family, as well as the emotional ties with his wives. These things he could not simply disregard without any thought. So, he was still preparing to wait and see, thinking that he should exert some effort in helping the Lu family through the crisis if possible. If not, he would then protect his wives and leave. This would not only leave him with a clear conscience but also give an explanation to his wives, Lu Miaoyun, and the Lu family. Alright, as long as you've got it figured out for yourself, that's fine. Li Feiyu, hearing these words, did not attempt to persuade otherwise. He knew that Lu Changsheng was a man of deep emotions. In such a situation, it was indeed very difficult to just walk away without looking back. If you have any doubts, you can also ask for my analysis, Li Feiyu said. Straight away, Lu Changsheng discussed the subsequent arrangements and other matters with Li Feiyu. After their conversation, Lu Changsheng immediately went to find the family head, Lu Yuanding. Since he had decided to send the children to the secular world, he had to inform Lu Yuanding, the patriarch of the Lu family. It was also a good opportunity to inquire about the current situation with the Qin family and ensure stability had been reached, as well as to discuss the matter of Li Feiyu's wives and children. Half an hour later, Lu Changxing arrived at Lu Yuanding's residence. However, Lu Yuanding was not there. After waiting for nearly half an hour, Lu Yuanding finally returned. "Changxing, have you come over for something?" Lu Yuanding came into the hall, looked at Lu Changxing and asked directly. "Yes, family head, I've heard that the dispute between our family and the Chen family has temporarily calmed down, and I was thinking of taking this opportunity to send some of my children to the secular world." Lu Changxing spoke openly without any hesitation. After all, he saw no need for excessive reticence in such matters. Sending children to the secular world? Lu Yuanding paused briefly upon hearing this. Then, after contemplating for a moment, he said, "I remember your children are already around 7 years old, right? It is indeed about time to send them to the secular world. At present, our Lu family and the Qin family have settled our issues temporarily, so there's no problem. However, you should still be careful on the road. When do you plan to depart? I will arrange for a few people to escort you back." Lu Yuanding spoke. "I was thinking of leaving in the next few days," Lu Changxing said. "Do you have a place prepared for settling the children? Our Lu family has family influences in many places in the secular world. If you don't have a place in mind, I can have someone arrange it for you. Rest assured, we will treat all these children equally." Chapter 197. Trouble is Brewing, Heart Demon. _4 Lu Yuanding spoke with a gentle tone. "Thank you, family head, but I have already made arrangements for the child's future, which is to settle him in our ancestral home in Rui Prefecture. I had a friend procure some farmland and houses there beforehand." Lu Changxing bowed slightly in acknowledgement. He could clearly discern from Lu Yuanding's words that it was hoped he would settle the child within the Lu family. "Since you have already made arrangements, that's naturally for the best. Once you've decided on a time, just inform me, and if you encounter any issues in the secular world, feel free to discuss them with me." Hearing that Lu Changxing had made arrangements, Lu Yuanding said no more. His tone remained gentle and unchanged. After all, this world placed great importance on familial bloodlines. While Lu Changxing's heart had become intertwined with the Lu family, he saw it as perfectly natural to want to establish his own bloodline in the secular world. "You needn't worry too much about the current situation of the Lu family." Yuan Shan made not insignificant gains in the Purple Shadow's secret realm, giving us hope to overcome this difficult period. Seemingly aware of the concerns in Lu Changxing's heart, Lu Yuanding revealed some news. Significant gains in the Purple Shadow's secret realm? Getting through a difficult period? Lu Changxing's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this. Although he didn't know whether what Lu Yuanding said was true or false, at this moment, Lu Changxing could not possibly show lack of response. He immediately bowed deeply, expressing his attitude, "Family head, I have long considered Qingzhou Mountain as my own home. This time, sending the child to the secular world is partly because he is not so young anymore, and also to leave bloodlines in the world, wishing to share life and death with the family." Lu Changxing said this with a look of firm conviction. Seeing Lu Changxing's determined expression, Lu Yuanding also showed a relieved and moved expression. He patted Lu Changxing's shoulder and said, It's the thought that counts. However, our Lu family will never let our people, our own, make sacrifices in vain, so you don't have to worry too much." Lu Yuanding said so. "Yes, family head." Lu Changxing nodded in agreement. He then continued, "By the way, family head, I have a good friend named Li Feiyu. A few years ago I troubled the fourth elder to have him released from his position as a son-in-law to become a free man, but he still remains with the Lu family. This time, I would like for him to return to the secular world with me to help look after the child. So, I would like to request the family head's permission to allow him to take his wives, concubines, and children back to the secular world with him." Lu Changxing spoke again. "No problem, you can go directly to Uncle Fu and have him arrange it." Lu Yuanding, upon hearing this, agreed without hesitation. Because of Lu Changxing, he had a recollection of the man named Li Feiyu. but his understanding wasn't clear. Since Lu Changxing had made the request, it was of no consequence to grant this favor. "Thank you, family head." Lu Changxing bowed deeply in gratitude. Then, Lu Changxing took his leave from Lu Yuanding. That night. Afterward, Lan Shu, Zier, Qingya, in planning to send Pingan, Wuyu, and Wuyo to the secular world in 3 days. They are still young and in need of care, so you will come with them to provide it. Lu Changxing said to the 3 women. He did not mention anything about the crisis facing the Lu family. Sending the children to the secular world now and having his wives look after them was the most legitimate reason. "All right, I'll follow my husband's decision." "Whatever you arrange, husband." The 3 women nestled close to Lu Changxing and replied in soft voices. "Don't worry, I will visit you whenever I can." Lu Changxing caressed the 3 women, speaking gently. He still had quite a lot of affection for his first 3 wives. Great Dream Immortal City. Meng fellow Taoist, before we begin alchemy, I must clarify that since foundation establishment elixir materials are hard to come by, aside from the second-rank alchemists of the great immortal sects, other alchemists are not very proficient in the making of the foundation establishment elixir. Under normal conditions, I can produce 2 elixirs. If luck is against me, there might be only 1, and only when luck is particularly favorable can 3 be produced. Hence, if you accept this outcome, I can begin the alchemy process for you. An old man with hair as white as a crane's feathers and a complexion as rosy and youthful as a baby slowly spoke to a young girl in a purple dress. "Of course, please rest assured, Chen Alchemist, no matter the outcome, this young lady understands and the agreed payment will not be shortchanged." Meng Xiaochan smiled as she handed over a storage bag. Although Chen Ping was an old hand at alchemy, he was one of the few who could reliably produce the foundation building elixir. Moreover, it was not easy for a loose cultivator to find someone to make the foundation building elixir for them. The alchemist Chen Ping before her was someone she had managed to ask for a favor through various connections and at a considerable cost. "Very well, since Meng fellow Taoist has no objections, then I shall commence alchemy. In the next few days, you may wait outside the alchemy hall or return after 7 days." Chen Ping nodded slightly, took a glance at the storage bag to ensure the materials were complete, and then, accompanied by 2 boys who fanned the flames, entered the alchemy hall. Meng Xiaochan did not depart but waited outside the hall for the outcome. At this moment, her mind drifted. Wondering if Chen Alchemist managed to produce only 1 foundation establishment elixir, how she should plan. Whether she should use it herself or give it to him. "Oh, this Lockhart Gu is too overbearing. Once I achieve foundation establishment, I must kill him. Otherwise, he will become my heart demon." In the next moment, Meng Xiaochan formed a spiritual art with her hands, pressing it on her forehead, taking deep breaths. She was acutely aware that the influence of the Lockhart Gu on her was getting more severe. She would often involuntarily think of Lu Changxing. Sometimes she even dreamed of him at night. If it weren't for the fact that I know him afflicted with the Lockhart Gu and have the pure heart technique, any other person would likely be unable to withstand the effects of the Lockhart Gu. That's why I must kill him and take back the Lockhart Gu. Meng Xiaoquan's eyes were downcast as she muttered to herself. Chapter 198. 3 Foundation Establishment Elixirs, Advancing to Middle Grade Spiritual Root. _ 5 days later. Outside Qingzhou Mountain. "Uncle Yuan Shan, thank you for your trouble on this journey," Lu Changxing said to a middle-aged man with a heroic face and missing an arm, bowing his hands in courtesy. This man was Lu Yuanshan, one of the core members of the Lu family who had been sent to the Purple Shadow secret realm. He possessed the strength of the 9th level energy refinement. This time, Lu Yuanding had him personally escort Lu Changxing to the secular world. "It's no trouble." Lu Yuanshan spoke with a deep voice, his expression stern and authoritative. He then took out a palm-sized blue flying boat. Under the activation of mana, the flying boat transformed into a small vessel about 3 meters long. This flying boat was slightly bigger than the second elders. But it wasn't much larger, only able to seat 12 people. This was because the Lu family did not have medium or large flying boats. Only a few small ones. The use of this flying boat was a special exception made by Lu Yuanding due to the special circumstances of Lu Chongqing. However, having a flying boat was already satisfying for Lu Chongqing. He had been considering whether to hire a flying boat from the spiritual boat pavilion. After all, with so many wives, concubines, and children, it would indeed be too troublesome and inconvenient to rely on spirit carriage. Feiyu, Lanshu, you go up first, Lu Chongqing said to Li Feiyu and Lu Lanshu and the others nearby. Because there were many people, he divided his wives, concubines, and children into two groups. First, he was sending Li Feiyu's wives, concubines, and children to the secular world. His own family would follow in another batch. Pingon, come with Daddy, Daddy will take you flying over, Lu Chongqing said, not boarding the flying boat himself. Instead, he pulled an iron feather eagle out of a spiritual pet bag and beckoned to his son Lu Pingon. Okay, Daddy, Lu Pingon replied without any objections. In his view, the flying boat was just that, nothing compared to the fun of riding an eagle. Lu Chongqing occasionally took them to fly on iron feather eagles, but it was only for short flights and not very satisfying. Hold on tight, said Lu Chongqing as he immediately picked up his son, leapt onto the iron feather eagle's back, made sure he was stable, and affixed 2 wind-avoiding talismans to him. He then looked towards Lu Yuanshan. Let's go! Lu Yuanshan saw that everyone was seated and nodded. Immediately, the iron feather eagle and the flying boat soared towards the sky together. In terms of speed, the flying boat was slightly faster than the iron feather eagle, but not by much. Lu Yuanshan slightly slowed down the speed of the flying boat to travel alongside Lu Chongqing. Pingon, remember the guidance Daddy has given you. From now on, with Daddy not by your side, you will have to decide for yourself what to do. Lu Chongqing stood on the iron feather eagle, hugging his son, and said aloud, Don't worry, Daddy, I'll definitely not let you down. Lu Pingon pursed his lips, raised his head to look at Lu Chongqing and nodded firmly. Good, Daddy believes in you, said Lu Chongqing without saying much more. Although his eldest son had no spiritual root and couldn't be said to have exceptional talent or intellect, he had a steady character, and as far as independence was concerned, Lu Chongqing was quite satisfied. With him as a father, his child didn't need to strive for success. Maintaining what they had was sufficient. And as Lu Chongqing saw it, Lu Pingon was more than capable of maintaining what they had. Great Dream Immortal City. Alchemy Hall. Mengdao friend, I was quite lucky this time, successful in creating 3 elixirs. However, this third one is flawed, just an inferior foundation establishment elixir. It has too much elixir toxicity and can only increase the chance of foundation establishment success by 10%. 7 days of alchemy had left Qin Ping's complexion rosy, but also a bit worn. He opened his palm, showing off 3 elixir medicines, and said to Meng Xiaochan. 2 of the elixirs were crystal clear, radiating a rich medicinal fragrance. The third was much duller in color, with a grayish mark, clearly inferior to the other 2. 3 elixirs. Meng Xiaochan exclaimed in surprise upon hearing this. She hadn't expected her luck to be so good as to yield 3 elixirs. Even if the third one was of inferior quality, it still held significant value. Enough to drive countless cultivators mad with desire. Thank you, Master Qin. Meng Xiaochan bowed in thanks, took out a storage bag, and handed it to Qin Ping, saying, Master Qin, this is the agreed-upon reward, please have a look. All right, Qin Ping took the storage bag, glanced at it, and smiled. He passed the 3 foundation establishment elixirs to Meng Xiaochan. Thank you, Master Qin, I shall take my leave, Meng Xiaochan said as she took the elixirs and promptly bade farewell. She went towards the inner city center to rent a second-rank cave mansion, preparing for her attempt to break through to foundation establishment. Her visit to the Great Dream Immortal City was not only for the purpose of creating foundation establishment elixirs, but also to make use of the second-grade spiritual veins to break through to foundation establishment. Places like Nine Dragon Square, although they sat atop second-grade spirit veins, their cave mansions were not available to the public. Even if they were, there would be formation limitations, preventing one from attempting foundation establishment. In the great dream Immortal city, however, as long as one had the money, one could rent top-tier second-rank or even almost third-rank cave mansions specifically suited for foundation establishment. This was why the Immortal city attracted so many loose cultivators to come. Foundation establishment. After renting a top-tier second-rank cave mansion, Meng Xiaochan set up a layer of formation around the mansion, her eyes showing a determined glint. She then sat down cross-legged, began to adjust her state of essence, energy, and soul, and waited for the right moment to attempt foundation establishment. 3 days later, the spirit boat and the iron feather eagle landed in an uninhabited area outside Rui County City. Lu Changxing, holding his sleeping son Lu Pingan in his arms, took out Hong Yi's transmission talisman. Then he led everyone towards Rui Prefecture. The movement of walking also awoke Lu Pingan. "Daddy, is this Rui County City where we'll live from now on?" Lu Pingan, rubbing his sleepy eyes, looked at the city ahead with curiosity. "Yes, this is Rui County City." Chapter 199. 3 Foundation Establishment Elixirs, Advancing to Middle Grade Spiritual Root. Dad was born in a small mountain village just below Rui County City, and from now on, you and your siblings will live here, Lu Changxing said gently. Rui County City, how time flies. Li Feiyu, too, holding his wife and daughter, looked towards the city ahead, his expression filled with emotions. Indeed, the last time we came here together, it was 5 years ago. In the blink of an eye, more than 5 years have passed. Lu Changxing nodded, also touched with a trace of nostalgia. Since his journey to the Lu family, it had already been over 8, almost 9 years. Every time he looked back at these times, Lu Changxing felt it had passed quickly. Soon after, Hong Yi arrived. "Brother Lu, Brother Li, these must be your wives." Hong Yi, upon seeing that Lu Changxing had brought his family and that Li Feiyu was also present, was a bit surprised. However, he didn't dwell on it much and approached warmly, with an expression of politeness and not a hint of arrogance. Upon seeing Lu Yuanshan, he also greeted him respectfully. "Youngster Hong Yi, I've met this elder." Although he didn't recognize Lu Yuanshan, his years of dealing with people had honed his perception. At first glance, he could tell that Lu Yuanshan was no ordinary figure. "Uncle Yuanshan, this is my good friend Hong Yi. Pingan, this is your Uncle Hong." Lu Changxing nodded slightly, introducing them. "Uncle Hong. Uncle Hong." Lu Pingan and Li Feiyu's children all called out to Hong. "Very good here, take these gifts from your uncle as a greeting." Seeing this, Hong Yi also smiled and took out a few small items from his storage bag for the children. The children, however, looked at their parents. "Since it's a gift from Uncle Hong, you should accept it," Lu Changxing said with a smile. Then, turning to Hong Yi, he asked, "Brother Hong, I didn't have time to inform you about my visit this time. Have you managed to arrange the house I asked you to acquire?" "I have arranged everything regarding the estate, but as for the protector and martial master, that has not yet been settled. Brother Lu, do you want to go there now, or should we first settle the elder and the ladies and let them rest?" Hong Yi said immediately, "Uncle Yuanshan, would you like to go back first, or rest here for a while?" Lu Changxing looked towards Lu Yuanshan and asked respectfully. He still showed the proper respect and courtesy due to the Lu family elder. "It's fine. I'm not in a hurry, I'll go back with you," Lu Yuanshan spoke. His task this trip was to escort the group, protecting Lu Changxing to prevent the Chen family from making a move against this talisman master. "Thank you for your trouble, Uncle Yuanshan." Lu Changxing bowed slightly. After that, he settled Lu Yuanshan, his wives, concubines, and children to rest. Together with Li Feiyu and Hong Yi, he went to check out the estate. "Brother Lu, did you come here ahead of time because of the conflict between the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain and the Chen family of Red Leaf Valley?" Hong Yi, as they boarded the carriage, inquired. "Brother Hong, you are also aware of this matter?" Lu Changxing was somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected that the affairs between the Lu and Chen families would be known to Hong Yi in the secular world. "I have been keeping an eye on this news. Not long ago, there was word that the Lu family ancestor was not long for this world, and that there might be a conflict between the Lu and Qin families. I was actually about to write to inform Brother Lu and Brother Li. I never expected that Brother Lu would arrive so soon. Tong said, "Indeed, I was influenced by this situation." Since Hong Yi had received relevant news, Lu Changxing didn't conceal anything. He mentioned that there had been some friction between the Lu and Chen families, which had now quieted down, so he had brought his wives and children to the secular world ahead of time. And later he would bring over more of his family. "Brother Lu, do you plan to separate from the Lu family or?" "I won't leave the Lu family for the time being, but this time Fei Yu will settle here in the secular world for a while." Lu Changxing shook his head and stated plainly. Hong Yi did not press the matter further. He knew that Lu Changxing knew far more about the Lu family's affairs than he did. There was no need for him to speculate based on rumors. And so the three of them chatted and reminisced in the carriage, laughing and talking. A quarter of an hour later, the carriage stopped. "Young master." The coachman called out to the carriage. "Brother Lu, here we are." Hong Yi nodded. Stepping down from the carriage, he pointed towards an estate in front of them and spoke to Lu Changxing. "Brother Lu, this is the place." This land was sectioned off beside the newly constructed canal for the purpose of building estates. The few estates constructed here are all owned by cultivators from the secular world. It also meets the requirement you mentioned before, being large and quiet. This estate covers a total of 18 acres, facing the canal in front, and the rear is fertile land that has been cultivated, suitable for orchards, farmland. Hong Yi continued the introduction for Lu Changxing as they walked. Lu Changxing looked at the estate Hong Yi had arranged for him. The estate could not be described as overly luxurious, but it was spacious and imposing. Especially its proximity to the canal, offering a view of its majestic expanse, and the possibility to enjoy boating on the waterway. This could be considered a waterfront property. Lu Changxing chuckled softly. Then he nodded towards Hong Yi. "This estate is quite nice. You've gone to a lot of trouble, Brother Hong. It's good that Brother Lu is satisfied. Let me show you around and explain everything." Hong Yi also revealed a smile. He had spent a great deal of effort on this estate. He was worried that Lu Changxing might not be pleased with it. He even had several backup houses prepared. The entire estate, though only 18 acres in size, had a layout that was exceptionally orderly and structured. Inside, the lush foliages, pavilions and towers, upturned eaves with blue tiles, intricately interconnected, were winding and intricate, exquisitely elegant without losing grandeur. After touring the estate, Lu Changxing was very satisfied with it. This size was more than enough, not just for his own children. Chapter 200. 3 Foundation Establishment Elixirs, Advancing to Middle Grade Spiritual Root. Even when Lu Pingan and the children grow up, all get married and have children of their own, 2 or 3 per person, they will still be able to live here comfortably. Some servants have also been arranged to clean and tidy up the place. It is just that there are still vacancies for martial masters, protectors, and stewards. Lu Changxing plans for the position of steward to let by he and Haitang, the maids that he previously purchased from the White Jade Tower, take on the role when the time comes. Not only do they have martial skills, but they are also capable in management. "Very well, Brother Hong, I am very satisfied with this residence. You have worked hard." Lu Changxing nodded towards Hong Yi, confirming the decision. He then turned to Li Feiyu and asked, "Feiyu, what are your plans? Will you live here, or do you want to return to Heavenly Water Mansion?" "He'll settle down here for the time being, and he'll go back to check on Heavenly Water Mansion later." Li Feiyu replied. "Fine, he'll rely on you and Brother Hong to look after things here then." Lu Changxing nodded. With Li Feiyu and Hong Yi watching over things, he felt reassured. Moreover, he also planned to leave the 9 Netherhound here. One reason was that the children all liked the 9 Netherhound as a playmate. Additionally, it was to have the 9 Netherhound guard the house for an extra layer of security. As they were leaving the mansion, Hong Yi took out a plaque from his storage bag and spoke. "Brother Lu, now that it's decided, why don't we give the mansion a name?" "I didn't expect you to be so well prepared, Brother Hong." Upon seeing this, Lu Changsheng couldn't help but smile. Taking out a talisman brush from his storage bag, he wrote Lu Residence on the plaque with powerful and elegant strokes. He hung the plaque above the mansion's main gate. This can be considered my own home now, even though it is in the secular world. Lu Changsheng looked at the mansion before him with a lot of emotions. It's true that after so many years on Qingzhou Mountain, he had developed a feeling of belonging. But for his own future, Lu Changsheng still wished to establish a cultivation family of his own. Although that step was still far off, and would have to wait until after he established his foundation establishment did not seem very far away to Lu Changsheng. This can be regarded as the first step. Lu Changsheng thought to himself. Now, his secular Lu family was also settled. In the future, his children could root and establish themselves in Rui County City. The next day, Lu Changsheng brought Lu Lanshu and Lu Pingan to the residence, and also moved Xia Zhiyue and her younger brother to live here. Regarding his own situation, Lu Changsheng had already told Xia Zhiyue before. Now was also a good time for Xia Zhiyue to start integrating into this family. After living in Rui County City for a day, Lu Changsheng and Lu Yuanshan returned to Qingzhou Mountain to begin the second phase of the transfer. The 2 round trips went very smoothly. Lu Changsheng brought Lu Qing'e, Lu Zier, and in total, 6 wives and concubines, along with 9 children to Rui County City. As for the remaining children, Lu Changsheng planned to wait until they were a bit older. After all, he was still, nominally, just moving the older children to the secular world for settlement, not running away. It was not feasible to move all his wives and children to the secular world at once. Upon seeing Lu Changsheng bring so many children, Hong Yi also sent his 2 children over, to get acquainted with the children of Lu Changsheng and Li Feiyu. It was arranged for them to become playmates and grow up together, continuing the relationships and friendships of their father's generation. After settling his wives and concubines, Lu Changsheng left the 9 Netherhound in the mansion for his son Lu Pingan to look after and raise, giving his own wives and children an additional means of self-protection in the secular world. Although the 9 Netherhound was still an early first-grade demon beast, it was nearly reaching the middle stage, able to face a common mid-phase Qi refinement cultivator without fear. During these days, Lu Changsheng also gave Xia Zhiyue a thorough examination, and he could almost confirm that she indeed possessed the spirit-nurturing physique. However, considering that Xia Zhiyue was only at the 2nd level of Qi refinement and that bearing children could harm her vitality, he did not ask her to get pregnant and bear children right away. Lu Changsheng exchanged for a set of minor spirit-gathering arrays from the Lu family, set them up in the backyard of the mansion, allowing Xia Zhiyue, Xia Zhaoyang, and Li Feiyu to barely manage to cultivate in the secular world. Furthermore, Lu Changsheng also gave Xia Zhiyue 50 spirit stones and some elixir medicines, encouraging her to cultivate diligently by herself regularly and not to slack off. After settling all these matters, Lu Changsheng and Lu Yuanshan returned to Qingzhou Mountain. But before leaving, Lu Changsheng also left a stack of talismans for Li Feiyu. After all, Li Feiyu only had the cultivation level of the 4th level of Qi refinement. Although he also had the strength of an innate grandmaster in martial arts, which virtually guaranteed his safety in the secular world, and with the Rui Marquis mansion there, however, Lu Changsheng always preferred to play it safe, just to be cautious. After sending the first batch of wives and children to the secular world, Lu Changsheng returned to Qingzhou Mountain and continued to lead a reclusive life, cultivating daily, making talismans, and spending time with his wives and children. In the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. On this day, the 63rd child of Lu Changsheng was born. The moment this child came into the world, Lu Changsheng felt an indescribable and mysterious agitation surge through him, clearly indicating to Lu Changsheng his spiritual root had advanced. From a 7th grade spiritual root, he had ascended to a 6th grade spiritual root. From a lower grade spiritual root, he had ascended to a middle grade spiritual root. System. Lu Changsheng exclaimed with joy, immediately opening the system panel. Name, Lu Changsheng. Identity, son-in-law of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. Cultivation level, 7th level energy refinement. Lifespan, 26/163, Talent, 6th Grade Spiritual Root. Cultivation Techniques, Immortal Beauty Technique, 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art, 7 Luminaries Great Freedom Sword Scripture, Spells, Flame Bullet Technique, Wind Control Skill, Object Manipulating Technique, Aura Concealment Technique, Spiritual Eye Technique, Sound Transmitting Technique. Skills, Talisman Making, 2nd Rank, Puppeteering, 2nd Rank. Spiritual Pets, 9 Netherhound, Peach Blossom Goo, Progeny, 63/75. View details. Chapter 201, 3 Foundation Establishment Elixirs, Advancing to Middle Grade Spiritual Root. Indeed, a 6th Grade Spiritual Root. After so much effort, I've finally advanced from a lower grade spiritual root to a middle grade spiritual root. Lu Changsheng looked at the system panel, feeling immense joy in his heart. A 9th grade spiritual root upon elevation to middle grade spiritual root wasn't just beneficial for foundation establishment, but it also wouldn't be a hindrance like a lower grade spiritual root, impacting the chances of foundation establishment. This child must be an 8th grade spiritual root, right? Lu Changsheng could roughly feel the quality of the child's spiritual root through the recent pulsation. However, with the system panel, it seemed even more convenient now. His mental spirit stirred slightly. Through the progeny section, he saw the information of his newly born child. Indeed, 8th grade spiritual root. I now have 12 children with spiritual roots. Yet only 2 children possess 7th grade spiritual roots. Trying to have a child with a middle grade spiritual root is truly difficult. Now that I've advanced to a 6th grade spiritual root, I wonder if this aspect will be any better, Lu Changsheng mused, exhaling deeply. Even if both parents possessed spiritual roots, and they ensured the mother was well nourished with spiritual energy during pregnancy to increase the odds of the child having a spiritual root, the child's grade of spiritual root was still very challenging. Now that I've advanced to middle grade spiritual root, not only has my cultivation speed increased, but it will also help me with my foundation establishment, he reflected. If I could advance to upper grade spiritual root early, foundation establishment would probably be as easy as snapping my fingers. It's a pity that Jiwei is only at the 2nd level of qi refinement. Her constitution is too frail, otherwise, with a spirit-nurturing physique, it wouldn't be a problem to have a child with a middle grade or even upper grade spiritual root, Lu Changsheng murmured to himself. With a spirit-nurturing physique, if one is willing to consume their cultivation's origin source to conceive, it's highly likely they could have a child with a middle grade spiritual root. But the problem is, Xia Zizhu is only at the 2nd level of qi refinement now. Doing so would certainly inflict great harm on her vitality and affect her at the foundational level. Even though Lu Changsheng wished for a child with a middle grade spiritual root, his morals and bottom line still prevented him from making such a decision. Previously, I read in a book that said some heavenly materials and earthly treasures have the power to increase the chances of the child having a spiritual root, even improving the quality of the spiritual root during the mother's pregnancy. I wonder if the system's lottery could draw such treasures, Lu Changsheng thought hopefully to himself. According to the books, these heavenly materials and earthly treasures are extremely rare. They are at least 3rd rank heavenly materials and treasures. But due to his trust in the system, Lu Changsheng felt that this wasn't a problem. However, thinking about how the system didn't provide much child money when having children, Lu Changsheng felt somewhat distressed. He could only hope that as the children grew up, they would bring him more rewards in other aspects. Sigh, it's difficult, life is so hard for me. Lu Changsheng shook his head, stopped his fanciful thoughts, and went into the practice room to sit down and cultivate. An hour later, Lu Changsheng opened his eyes. My advancement from a 7th grade spiritual root to a 6th grade was quite natural, he reflected. Reliant on the development of the children's spiritual roots and stacking 8th grade and 9th grade spiritual roots, there was not much noticeable speed difference. It seems that it will primarily help with bottleneck issues, he concluded. Lu Changsheng had experienced that after advancing to middle grade spiritual root, his cultivation speed had not increased significantly. He understood that the main difference between a 7th grade and a 6th grade spiritual root was in their impact on realm bottlenecks. There were differences in cultivation speed of spiritual energy, but they were not that significant. Chapter 202, Yin-Yang Harmony Technique. Foundation Establishment. _1 Qingzhou Mountain. Inside the practice room. Lu Changsheng sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, focusing on his practice, as 7 fierce strands of sword qi lingered within his flesh, almost piercing through his skin. The normally handsome and extraordinary visage of Lu Changsheng was now twisted with pain. Huff! After a long while, Lu Changsheng's expression eased, and he opened his eyes, exhaling a long breath of turbid air. Although the pain of expelling the elixir toxicity is nothing compared to the benefits, the torment of the sword qi is truly excruciating. Lu Changsheng gently wiped the sweat from his forehead, performed a cleansing technique, and exclaimed with feeling. However, once I break through to the foundation establishment stage and cultivate the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture to the 2nd level, I can condense a 7 luminaries stars lamp within my body. With this lamp formed, I can ignite its flame and autonomously burn away the elixir toxicity and impurities in my body, without having to use the 7 luminaries' sword qi to endure such agony, Lu Changsheng muttered to himself. The 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture has a corresponding technique for each level. The 2nd level includes a divine skill, the 7 luminaries stars lamp. This allows the cultivator to solidify a heart lamp within. Not only does the lamp help the cultivator expel elixir toxicity, condense mana, and strengthen the foundation, it can also incinerate spiritual energy, accelerate cultivation, protect the mental spirit, and aid in enlightenment among other things. It is profoundly powerful. Additionally, the cultivator can even cast this lamp into a tangible magic artifact. It is a top-tier spiritual artifact with both offensive and defensive capabilities. Lu Changsheng didn't dwell further on this. He stood up, looking at the porcelain bottle beside him, now empty. I've almost used up all my elixir medicines. I need to make a trip to the 9 Dragons marketplace. This is also a good opportunity to deal with all the items I collected from Xia Long and the others. Then, I can stock up on more elixir medicines, and also equip my 2nd-rank puppet with middle-grade spirit stones, Lu Changsheng thought to himself, walking out of the practice room and preparing to visit the 9 Dragons marketplace. But when he reached the backyard, intending to tell his wives that he would be out, he saw the 4th elder holding his chubby grandchild and chatting with the heavily pregnant Lu Miaoyun. As soon as the 4th elder heard that Lu Changsheng was planning to visit the 9 Dragons marketplace, she immediately said, "Changsheng, the outside world is not very peaceful right now. If you don't have urgent business, it's better not to leave Qingzhou Mountain. If you need to go to the 9 Dragons marketplace, you can wait for another 2 months. The 2nd elder will be returning by then. You can go with the 2nd elder, and let Miaoga rest a bit too," the 4th elder thus advised. "All right, Grandma," Lu Changsheng replied promptly upon hearing this. Although the situation between the Chen family and the Lu family appeared to have calmed down temporarily, it was only superficially much improved. Underneath the surface, friction continued unabated. Lu Changsheng deduced that the Chen family was likely waiting for an opportunity, a chance to act. They could launch an attack at any moment. Being the talisman master of the Lu family, he estimated he was certainly one of the Chen family's targets. There was a chance that he could be attacked by the Chen family. Although Lu Changsheng was confident that, as long as he did not encounter a foundation establishment great cultivator, he feared no one, but it was just a trip to the marketplace, no need to rush. And so, 2 months passed. In these 2 months, 3 of Lu Changsheng's children were born. Of note, 2 of these children possessed spiritual roots. One was Lu Miao's 3rd child, with a 9th grade spiritual root. The other was Shu'er's 3rd child with an 8th grade spiritual root. Thus, the number of Lu Changsheng's children possessing spiritual roots reached 14. The total number of Lu Changsheng's children, including those yet to be born, had also reached 77. 5 days later, the 2nd elder returned. As the 2nd elder prepared to journey back to the 9 Dragons marketplace, Lu Changxing, accompanied by little Qing, left with the second elder for the Nine Dragons marketplace. If he had been going alone, Lu Changxing naturally would not have taken anyone with him. But this trip was to take over for Lu Miaoge, and he was going to stay in the Nine Dragons marketplace for half a year, so having little Qing by his side was indeed convenient. 1.5 days later, the flying boat arrived smoothly at the Nine Dragons marketplace. After parting ways with the second elder, Lu Changxing took little Qing back to their residence. Seeing the 12 maids in the courtyard, Lu Changxing enjoyed them thoroughly. After all, the kind of maids trained by White Jade Tower offer an unmatched experience. The next morning, Lu Changxing went to the spiritual talisman shop. He told Lu Miaoge that he would be staying in the marketplace for a while and that she could take a break if she wished. Lu Miaoge didn't refuse. Though the spiritual talisman shop didn't have too much busy work, most of the time, it was necessary to have someone preside over the shop to deal with some affairs, which made it difficult to focus on cultivation and study of the talisman path. After Lu Miaoge had been notified, Lu Changxing skillfully handled the items collected from Xia Long and the others. Aside from keeping 2 magic artifacts for his own use, he sold everything else, netting Lu Changxing a total of 2,400 spirit stones. With his fresh earnings, Lu Changxing began to spend. He purchased a batch of elixir medicines and materials necessary for practicing the 100 refinements treasure body art, and also exchanged for 10 middle-grade spirit stones. Although 1 middle-grade spirit stone is equal to 100 lower-grade spirit stones, considering the exchange rates and handling fees, 10 middle-grade spirit stones cost Lu Changxing a total of 1,030 spirit stones. He'll skip the White Jade Tower for now. Walking home, Lu Changxing glanced at the over 800 spirit stones remaining in his storage bag and dismissed the idea of visiting the White Jade Tower. After all, the consumption at the White Jade Tower is somewhat high, and with his 800+ spirit stones, he could only buy maids with lower-grade spiritual roots. Now with 10 wives and maids having spiritual roots, and his own spiritual root upgraded to middle grade. Chapter 203, Yin-Yang Harmony Technique. Foundation Establishment. Lu Changxing's expectations had risen accordingly. He wished the mother of his child would have a better spiritual root. If he were to go to White Jade Tower to buy a maid again, he would buy one with a middle-grade spiritual root. Now, a lower-grade spiritual root really didn't inspire much interest in him. After returning home, Lu Changxing took out the second-rank puppet from his storage bag in his room. With a pinch of his fingers executing a spiritual art, he removed the heart-protecting mirror from the puppet. He took out the 10 lower-grade spirit stones inside and replaced them with the 10 middle-grade spirit stones he had exchanged for. This is much more reliable. Lu Changxing looked at the metal puppet in front of him and nodded in satisfaction. With the support of 10 middle-grade spirit stones, this second-rank puppet could now tussle with a foundation establishment great cultivator for a bit longer. Otherwise, according to his previous estimation, after the 5 javelins on the puppet's back were launched, the stored spiritual power would be almost depleted. A little over a month later, on the second floor of the spiritual talisman shop, Lu Changxing held a talisman pen and smoothly completed a superior-grade talisman. Changxing, you've already surpassed me in talisman making. At this rate, I estimate that in 4 or 5 years, you'll be able to try your hand at crafting supreme talismans and become a top-level first-grade talisman master. Lu Miaoge, dressed in white surpassing snow, with a beautiful face, smiled as she watched Lu Changxing finish making the talisman. In the past, she would feel somewhat frustrated watching Lu Changxing's rapid progress in the talisman path. But as Lu Changxing caught up with her with his swift improvements, she gradually came to terms with it. After all, she was never one to be fiercely competitive by nature. Seeing Lu Changxing's progress made her happy for him. It's also thanks to Sister Miaoge for looking after the shop this past year that I've been able to focus on the talisman path in the tranquility of Qingzhou Mountain and make such rapid progress, Lu Changxing said with a smile. After all, the 4th elder had entrusted him to manage the shop. But previously he had handed the shop over to Lu Miaoge on the pretext of spending time at home with his wives and children. However, my current cultivation level is still too low, and I can only craft relatively simple superior-grade talismans. To go further and craft more complex superior-grade talismans, I must break through to the 6th level of energy refinement. As for supreme talismans, I guess I'll have to wait until I reach the 7th level of energy refinement to try practicing them. But with my 9th grade spiritual root, I don't know when I'll be able to break through to that level, so even if my skills on the talisman path improve, it's pointless. Lu Changxing then continued with a wry smile. He didn't want to demoralize this young lady too much on the topic of talisman path. As long as you spend more time on your cultivation and reach the 6th level, you can apply for a high-rank breakthrough elixir from the family. Then you'll be able to break through to the 7th level very quickly, Lu Miaoge said, biting her lip gently, trying to comfort him. She also felt it a pity for Lu Changsheng's spiritual root talent. Such a great talent for talisman making, yet held back by his spiritual root. Thank you, Sister Miaoge. I will certainly work hard on cultivation. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. Master, young Master Bai has arrived. At that moment, shopkeeper Zhang Shan came to report. Just say I'm not here. From now on, whenever this young Master Bai comes, you're to say I'm not here, Lu Miaoge said, furrowing her brows slightly upon hearing this. Yes, Master, Zhang Shan nodded. Sister Miaoge, why not just tell this young Master Bai outright to save him from pestering you like this? Lu Changxing asked upon hearing this. He had been around long enough to know what this young Master Bai was all about. This young Master Bai came from the Bai family at Whitebird Lake. The Bai family had always had a good relationship with the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, with numerous marriages between the two. Not long ago, the Bai family had made an overture to the Lu family about an arranged marriage. They wanted young Master Bai to marry Lu Miaoge. With a 5th grade spiritual root and being a superior grade talisman master, the Lu family naturally did not want her to marry off. But given the Lu family's current circumstances, it was difficult for them to outright refuse the Bai family's proposal without causing offense. So they tactfully conveyed that the matter was for Lu Miaoge to decide. If she was willing, it could be settled. Subsequently, young Master Bai came to Nine Dragons Market, starting to pursue Lu Miaoge. I've already told him explicitly before that I am devoted to my practice and not considering romance, Lu Miaoge said softly. Devoted to my practice and not considering romance? Sister Miaoge, do you really think this way, or is this just an excuse to reject young Master Bai? Lu Changxing asked, raising his eyebrows curiously as he casually asked. In the cultivation world, where fortunes change rapidly, only as a foundation establishment great cultivator can one truly stand firm. If I want to attempt foundation establishment, I can't allow myself to be distracted by romance, Lu Miaoge replied with a light press of her lips, voicing her determination with a gentle but firm voice. That means you haven't completely ruled out the possibility. If you were to consider it, what would be your requirements for a Dao companion? Lu Changxing chuckled lightly, inquiring in a casual tone. His relationship with Lu Miaoge was quite good by now, so this kind of conversation did not hold too much taboo for them. I have not given it much thought yet, Lu Miaoge said, her eyes lowered, speaking softly. I believe that with your potential, Sister Miaoge, you will definitely be able to succeed in foundation establishment, Lu Changxing said, not pursuing the topic further. Foundation establishment, it's easier said than done, Lu Miaoge shook her head slightly. As someone born into the cultivation family of the Lu family, she knew very well how difficult it was to reach foundation establishment. Otherwise, aside from the Lu family ancestor, no new foundation establishment cultivator would have emerged in the family. Without access to a foundation establishment elixir, even if one reaches the peak of energy refinement with the appropriate age and possesses foundation establishment spirit objects, the probability of successfully establishing the foundation is at most 30%. Then Lu Miaoge looked at Lu Changxing and said, if you become a second-rank talisman master, there might still be hope for you to achieve foundation establishment in the future. Chapter 204, Yin-Yang Harmony Technique. Foundation Establishment. Her words were not meant to comfort. In Lu Miaoge's opinion, with Lu Changsheng's talent for the talisman path, If he became a second-grade talisman master and made good connections with other powers, there was still hope for him to obtain a Foundation Establishment Elixir and Foundation Establishment Spirit objects to take a shot at Foundation Establishment. Although the probability was also very slim. I don't have any extravagant hopes about Foundation Establishment. I'd be satisfied if I could break through to the energy refinement late stage. Lu Changxing shook his head. He always appeared casual about cultivation to others, very much like a salted fish. After all, the persona of someone who devoted his heart to the path of cultivation didn't quite match up with that of a man who was the father of more than 70 children. It wouldn't do to proclaim his dedication to the path and desire for Foundation Establishment one moment, and then go off to make children the next. Changxing, I won't be coming over for the time being, so the shop will be a bother for you to look after. If you have any issues, feel free to send me a message at any time. Lu Miaoge sighed softly and did not dwell on the topic. After all, not to mention Lu Changsheng's 9th-grade spiritual root, even with her own middle-grade spiritual root, the probability of achieving Foundation Establishment wasn't much to speak of, which was quite worrying. Okay, no problem, Lu Changxing nodded. In the following days, Lu Changxing returned to his previous working life routine. His daily life remained as bland, tedious, and tasteless as before. Regarding having children, Lu Changxing took an easygoing approach. He didn't strive for it, nor did he deliberately control it. If it happened, then it happened. So in the span of 3 months, 4 maids became pregnant. That day, Lu Changxing was meditating and cultivating on the 2nd floor of the spiritual talisman shop. Suddenly he sensed a familiar throbbing. It let Lu Changxing know that a child had been born on Qingzhou Mountain. This child possessed a spiritual root. And at that moment of throbbing, a familiar system notification rang out. Congratulations to the host for the birth of 15 offspring with spiritual roots. You've earned 1 chance at a luck draw. 15 of them. Looks like there's some hope for child money after all. Upon hearing this system notification, Lu Changxing couldn't help but feel elated. Although the number had changed from 1, 2, 3 children per child money, to 5 now, Lu Changxing felt it was still nice to have any at all. System, draw a prize. Lu Changxing silently willed it. Immediately, the familiar wheel of fortune appeared. Without overthinking, Lu Changxing commanded, "Start the draw." At once, the familiar golden light special effect appeared, and the wheel spun rapidly before slowly coming to a stop on cultivation technique. Ding! Congratulations, host, on obtaining the cultivation technique, Yin-Yang Harmony technique. The reward has been placed in the system space, and the host can check it at any time. A translucent jade scroll icon appeared, alongside the system notification. Yin-Yang Harmony technique? Is this a dual cultivation technique or a technique from the heretical path? Lu Changsheng's brows raised as he saw the technique. Having obtained the 7 luminaries' Great Freedom Sword scripture, he wasn't too concerned about drawing another technique. But that didn't mean he had no need for techniques. For example, he needed techniques for cultivating the mental spirit and dual cultivation. Lu Changxing did have demands in those areas. Right away, Lu Changxing examined the system space to check the details of the technique he had just drawn. Cultivation technique, Yin-Yang Harmony technique. Grade, peripheral sect level. Description, the Yin-Yang superior, blessed with extraordinary talent yet indulged in the pleasures of men and women, hindered his cultivation. On the verge of death, after observing various techniques, he integrated them into one, creating the Yin-Yang Harmony technique, which allows cultivators to explore the great medicine within the human body through the path of Yin and Yang and uncover the mysteries of the origin of cultivation. A peripheral sect-level technique. From this description, it doesn't sound like just a simple dual cultivation technique. It should be a technique from the demon path that cultivates through dual cultivation. Lu Changsheng's frown deepened as he read about the Yin-Yang Harmony technique. But how good a technique truly is, one only knows after trying it out. After all, it is, at the very least, a peripheral sect-level technique. System extract. Without much thought, Lu Changxing focused his mind and extracted the Yin-Yang Harmony technique. In an instant, the method of cultivating the Yin-Yang Harmony technique, its related content, and various key points flooded into Lu Changsheng's mind like a divine insight. After some time, just as I suspected, it's not a purely dual cultivation technique, but rather a technique from the heretical path of cultivation. Lu Changsheng opened his eyes, fully comprehending the yin-yang harmony technique. As he had guessed, it was a technique from the heretical path. It allowed one to swiftly enhance one's strength through dual cultivation, all the way to the nascent soul stage. If he didn't have the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture, Lu Changsheng might consider cultivating this technique. But since he had it, Lu Changsheng was not at all inclined to cultivate this technique. The reason was simple. No one understood the merits of these two techniques better than him. In terms of cultivation speed, the yin-yang harmony technique had the upper hand. However, in terms of foundational strength, the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture far surpassed it. What Lu Changsheng emphasized was to advance steadily, build a robust foundation, and achieve greatness later in life. If he cultivated the yin-yang harmony technique, let alone reaching the nascent soul stage, it would definitely impact his later stages. Even though I won't cultivate this yin-yang harmony technique, as a technique created by the yin-yang superior by combining many others, it's incredibly inclusive. There are many secret techniques within it that I can practice and that will be of use to me. Lu Changsheng mused to himself. This yin-yang harmony technique, as a peripheral sect-level method, was naturally no simple matter. It included many dual cultivation secret techniques, astonishing Lu Changsheng with its breadth of knowledge. For instance, it contained a secret technique called Dragon Invocation Technique. This allowed a cultivator to continuously harvest the true yin essence of female cultivators, thereby making one's cultivation soar dramatically. Chapter 205, Yin-Yang Harmony Technique. Foundation Establishment. Underscore 4. If a woman possesses a special spiritual body, she can even gather certain characteristics of the spiritual body from it. However, this secret technique does have some detrimental effects on female cultivators. If overharvested, it can damage the woman's origin source and lead to death through direct harvesting. Besides the Dragon Invocation Technique, which is a heretical path of cultivation by harvesting, Lu Changsheng also came across several good cultivation techniques. One secret technique was called the 5 aggregates proliferation method, which, after being cultivated by a male and female, could increase the odds of pregnancy. As cultivators increase their cultivation levels, there is also a side effect. It becomes more difficult to have offspring. For those in the Qi refinement realm, there are no significant consequences yet. However, once breaking through to the foundation establishment, there will be some impacts. If someone breaks through to the core formation stage, it becomes very difficult to have children. As for the nascent soul stage, it's even more challenging. And this 5 aggregates proliferation method enables one to cultivate and conserve essence, thus improving the chance of having children. The second cultivation technique is the tender embrace technique. It is a superior method for dual cultivation. Unlike the Dragon Invocation Technique, which solely advances oneself by consuming the essence of female cultivators. In the process of dual cultivation with the tender embrace technique, although the man absorbs the woman's primal yin essence, this primal yin essence merges with the man's primal yang essence. Thus, 1 produces 2, 2 produces 3, nourishing more of the yin and yang essences, eventually returning a portion back. It can not only replenish what the woman has lost, but the surplus can also nourish the woman, bringing her immense benefits. However, being a secret technique from the yin-yang harmony technique, there are side effects. That is, with excessive dual cultivation, it can cause the woman to become increasingly infatuated and affectionate towards the male cultivator. But in Lu Changsheng's view, this is hardly a downside. After all, he only practiced dual cultivation with his own wives, concubines, and maids. He had no intention of becoming a philanderer or doing anything that defies morality and injures the heavens. There was another secret technique called the inverted phoenix cultivation technique. It required a virgin female cultivator to practice. Once the woman has cultivated the technique to a certain profound level, the male cultivator can perform the secret technique steal the woman's primal yin in an instant to break through cultivation level bottlenecks. Foundation establishment, core formation, nascent soul. These three major realm bottlenecks can be aided with this technique for breakthroughs. Perhaps the maids of the White Jade Tower who are cultivating the charming lady elemental cultivation are practicing a similar technique? It's just that charming lady elemental cultivation allows those without a spiritual root to cultivate as well. Lu Changxing felt that the inverted phoenix cultivation technique was somewhat like an upgraded version of the charming lady elemental cultivation. It's a pity that the inverted phoenix cultivation technique requires too much time to cultivate, and it demands a certain cultivation level from female cultivators. Otherwise, I could try the effect by purchasing a maid from the White Jade Tower for cultivation. Lu Changxing shook his head slightly. He felt that revealing the cultivation technique from the yin-yang harmony technique was not suitable at the moment. Otherwise, it could easily lead to trouble. However, this tender embrace technique can be tried when I go back. Lu Changxing thought to himself. After all, trying out dual cultivation techniques with one's own wives is a pleasure for the bedroom. He had previously bought the Dragon Locking Secret Technique, the Jade Chamber's Essential Secret, and the 36 Scattered Hands of Dongzuanzi, and had experienced them as well. However, those three were merely worldly arts of the bedroom and did not qualify as dual cultivation techniques. And revealing the tender embrace technique to his wives wouldn't be an issue. He could simply say he stumbled upon it at the market for loose cultivators. Night fell. Xiaoqing, come here, your husband has something good to teach you. After returning home and having dinner, Lu Changxing called Xiaoqing to his room. Afterward, son-in-law, Xiaoqing can't take it anymore. Lying on the bed, Xiaoqing's eyes, brimming with water, were filled with tender affection and charm. Xiaoqing, see how much your cultivation level has increased. Lu Changxing asked, looking toward Xiaoqing. Son-in-law, I've been cultivating for about a day or two. Xiaoqing's face flushed with excitement and immediately showed a look of surprise. A day or two, it seems the effect is just average. Lu Changxing pondered softly. He knew this also depended on the cultivation level of both individuals. Because Xiaoqing was only at the third level energy refinement, the effect was better for her than for him. Through dual cultivation he had only managed a slight increase, probably equivalent to 2 or 3 hours of meditation. However, something is better than nothing. It's at least better than not having anything, and it added a bit of boudoir pleasure. Lu Changxing didn't mind thinking any further. After all, this was as good as getting something for nothing. He then positioned Xiaoqing properly and smiled. No problem, little by little adds up. Let your son-in-law aid you in your cultivation. Great Dream Immortal City. Inner city cave dwelling area. But then, outside one of the cave dwellings, nature's spiritual energy was suddenly drawn out, forming a spiritual energy vortex. Someone is making a breakthrough to foundation establishment. By the looks of it, they have breached the 3 barriers of foundation establishment and have reached the most critical step. It's uncertain whether they'll be successful or not. The unusual surge in nature's spiritual energy drew the attention and curiosity of other cultivators from nearby cave dwellings. However, the onlookers were few. After all, in a place like Great Dream Immortal City where high-end cave dwellings are rented out to outsiders, there are cultivators attempting foundation establishment and challenging their bottlenecks every year. And at this very moment, inside the cave dwelling, foundation establishment achieved. Meng Xiaochan opened her eyes, and a purple light flickered in her pupils. At this moment, her face also reverted to its original appearance, bearing a 3 to 4 part similarity to before. But as if her facial features had matured, from her previous delicate beauty, she transformed into a woman of breathtaking allure. Her entire being radiated an elusive and ethereal charm, making her feel ungraspable. I've successfully established my foundation. Meng Xiaochan looked at her own palms and couldn't help but show a joyous smile on her face. Afterward, she closed her eyes, and in her mind appeared the image of a handsome and upright young man. In this manner, She quietly felt the state of her mental spirit and her emotions. Moments later, Meng Xiaochan felt a surge of rising sentiment in her heart and immediately opened her eyes, dispelling the image in her mind and suppressing the feelings in her heart. What a domineering Lockhart Gu! Even after my foundation establishment, it still affects me. I must find a way to solve it, to kill him and take back the Lockhart Gu. Meng Xiaocan's eyes revealed a determined look. But as soon as the thought emerged, she felt a pang of turmoil and pain in her heart, feeling as though she should not have such thoughts. Meng Xiaochan immediately formed a spiritual art with her hands to calm her inner turmoil. She began to think about how she was going to take back the Lockhart Gu. Chapter 206. 2 Boss, the big boss might not make it. _19 Dragons Market. Jade Meal Pavilion. Inside a private room, Yu Maoqing was dining and drinking with Lu Changxing. Brother Lu, the situation of the Lu family doesn't seem very optimistic. Do you have any plans in mind? After the drinks had flowed for a while, Yu Maoqing initiated the conversation. What plans could I have? When the sky falls, there's someone tall to bear it. It's not my turn to worry. What, Brother Yu, are you bringing this up because you have a strategy in mind? Lu Changxing lifted an eyebrow when he heard this. Today, Yu Maoqing invited him to drink in this private room, which made him feel that the other party had something to say. Now hearing this, he thought to himself that indeed, there was something. What strategies could I possibly have? It's just that the Yu family is interested in recruiting you, Brother Lu. They asked me to act as a mediator. They conveyed that if Brother Lu is willing to join the Yu family, they are also willing to offer a family maiden in marriage to you. As for the conditions and treatment, Brother Lu, you are also free to make requests, said Yu Maoqing as he took a bite of his dish, smirked bitterly, and spoke the truth. I, Lu Changxing, came from humble beginnings to join the Lu family. Now that my wives, concubines, and children are all with the Lu family, how can I commit such an act of betrayal against my own family? Lu Changxing waved his hand dismissively. Brother Lu, please don't take offense. It's just that the Yu family knew of our acquaintance, which is why they had me act as the mediator. There's no other implication. I'll punish myself with a drink. Yu Maoqing promptly lifted his cup and announced, expressing his apologies. I'm well aware of that. Lu Changxing nodded slightly, not taking it too much to heart. He knew that Yu Maoqing was just a go-between. The Yu family asking him to be the mediator didn't leave him any choice but to accept. In that case, he'll give the Yu family a response later. However, Brother Lu, with your talent in the talisman path and having become a top-level talisman master at such a young age, I reckon the Yu family won't give up easily. They will likely send someone to recruit you again. Yu Maoqing explained. Envy was an inevitable undertone in his voice. Previously, when the Yu family asked him to mediate, he was somewhat surprised. But after learning that Lu Changxing was a top-level talisman master, his surprise was immense. He had always thought Lu Changxing was a middle-grade talisman master. Little had he expected Lu Changxing to have been promoted to top-level talisman master. In his awe at Lu Changxing's talisman path talent, he understood why the Lu family said nothing about his multiple marriages. His status was such that it simply wasn't comparable to that of a cultured family son-in-law like himself. All right, thanks for the heads-up, Brother Yu. Lu Changxing nodded. He could also sense what Yu Maoqing implied. It meant that the Yu family would arrange through Yu Maoqing to have him meet with someone from their family later. So it was like a courtesy heads-up for now. Actually, as a friend, I think Brother Lu could consider this option. It's not to say you should betray the Lu family. Rather, if the situation of the Lu family truly becomes untenable, Brother Lu must consider an alternative for yourself. Yu Maoqing took a sip of his drink and voiced his thoughts. Let's see about that when the time comes. Lu Changxing sighed lightly. It's still a bit early to discuss this matter now. In his escape plans, he had naturally considered an alternative. If it came to the point where the Lu family was truly failing, Lu Changxing planned to take his wives, concubines, and children to escape and hide in the marketplace for a few years. Once the time was right, he would reveal his first-grade top-level talisman-making skill and choose to join forces like the Qingyun Commerce Guild. As for clans like the Yu family involved in cultivation, they weren't even within the range of his considerations. After all, not every cultured family was as relatively upright as the Lu family, a place where he could live comfortably and without worry. Moreover, after the incident with the Lu family, joining another cultivation family would ensure he never truly fit in and would face ostracism. He would rather join a commerce guild or a sect, where life would be more relaxed and carefree. Indeed, there's no need to rush these things, Yu Maoqing agreed, nodding. With Brother Lu's talisman-making skill, you can establish yourself anywhere. He did not continue to delve into this topic. Half a month later, Lu Changxing was in the spiritual talisman shop, drawing talismans. Zhang Shan informed Lu Changxing that Yu Maoqing was looking for him. "Brother Yu, what's the matter?" Lu Changxing descended from upstairs and asked Yu Maoqing. "It's about what I mentioned last time. The Yu family will be sending someone again to recruit Brother Lu. The third young master of the Yu family has arrived today and asked me to invite Brother Lu for a chat," Yu Maoqing announced. The third young master of the Yu family? Lu Changxing obviously did not recognize this third young master of the Yu family. But being referred to as the third young master, he inferred that the young master's status within the Yu family must not be ordinary. "Brother Lu, why don't you go and meet him?" Even if Brother Lu isn't interested in joining the Yu family, it's still reasonable to meet, Yu Maoqing suggested. He then lowered his voice and added, "Moreover, from what I know, this third young master doesn't have the best of reputations. If Brother Lu can avoid offending him, it's best to do so." "All right, I'll go with Brother Yu and meet him then," Lu Changxing chuckled lightly and nodded in response. He was aware that if he refused, it would be difficult for Yu Maoqing to explain himself. And since the Yu family had sent a young master over, it was unlikely that he would just leave after making a visit without meeting anyone. Rather than going himself, later encounters would still lead them to seek him out, so it might as well be now. Why does it feel like these cultivation families are trying to uproot the Lu family? Lu Changxing suddenly thought of the previous incident where young Master Bai pursued Lu Miaoge. It seemed that young Master Bai's presence in Nine Dragon Square, persistently wooing Lu Miaoge, might not stem from genuine affection for Lu Miaoge. Instead, this approach could be a way to show earnestness and an attempt to have Lu Miaoge join the Bai family. Sigh, it truly is a case of everyone pushing a falling wall. The Lu family ancestor hasn't even passed away yet, and it's come to this. If the Lu family ancestor were to die. Chapter 207, Second Master, the Big Boss is in trouble. Lu Changxing couldn't help but think in his heart. He felt that the cultivation world was more naked than he had imagined. Shortly after, Lu Changxing and Yu Maoqing arrived at a private room on the second floor of the Jade Meal Pavilion. Inside the private room, the table was already prepared with fine wines and dishes. "Lu Daoist, it's an honor to meet you," said a handsome young man in a Kubla brocade clothes with a somewhat effeminate air, who, upon seeing Lu Changxing, gave him a few glances and greeted him with a cupped fist. "I've seen the third young master," Lu Changxing replied with a slight bow, knowing that this was indeed the third young master of the Yu family. "Brother Lu, third young master, I still have some matters to attend to, you two chat," said Yu Maoqing as he introduced them to each other. He wouldn't linger after bringing Lu Changxing, so he took his leave with a cupped fist. Yuningyuan nodded slightly and waved his hand to indicate Yu Maoqing should step down. Then he made a gesture inviting Lu Changxing to sit down. "Lu Daoist, please take a seat. The reason I invited Lu Daoist here this time, you probably already understand," he began. "I heard from Yu Maoqing that you are not considering this aspect for the time being, but there's no rush. Lu Daoist can still listen to my offer. Even if it doesn't work out, we can still be friends and become acquainted," Yuningyuan said with a smile, picking up the wine pot and personally pouring wine for Lu Changxing. "I consider it a fortunate matter to meet a young talent like third young master Yu," Lu Changxing replied. "I'll drink first," he said, seeing that his host was so polite, he naturally wouldn't offend, and with a smile, he drank all the wine in his cup. He exclaimed, "Good wine." These words were no mere courtesy. Lu Changsheng hadn't drunk much wine. Just the white jade bamboo wine and white jade 100 flowers wine, and others. But now, he could clearly appreciate that this wine far surpassed the white jade bamboo wine and white jade 100 flowers wine he had tasted before. It nourished the spiritual power and mental spirit, probably a first-grade top-quality spiritual wine. This is the special spiritual wine from by Lake Mountain, Green Water Spiritual Wine. It's quite effective for nourishing the mind and spirit. Since you are a talisman master, Lu Daoist, you can drink more. If you like it, I have another pot on me, you can take it back to enjoy, Yuning Yuan offered. Third young master Yu is too courteous. I cannot accept such a reward for no merit. How could I be so bold? Lu Changxing waved his hand, naturally not tempted by just a bit of spiritual wine. Seeing this, Yuning Yuan did not dwell on the subject and started talking about other matters. He inquired about Lu Changsheng's situation in the Lu family, his life. Then he spoke about the current situation of the Lu family and introduced his own Yu family's circumstances. If Lu Changxing didn't have a systematic approach and a clear plan for himself, he might genuinely have been moved by the third young master of the Yu family's appearance and words of attracting talents. After all, according to the third young master, the prospects of the Lu family were not optimistic. While the Yu family of by Lake Mountain not only had 2 foundation establishment great cultivators as pillars, within 10 years, there was hope for the birth of a third foundation establishment great cultivator. Their family's overall strength and future prospects far surpassed those of the Lu family. If Lu Changxing were willing to join, the future promised limitless possibilities. After wrapping up the conversation, Yuning Yuan took out a pot of spiritual wine and 3 jade boxes, placing them on the table. Upon opening the jade boxes, inside each were a magic artifact talisman brush, 10 crystal clear middle-grade spirit stones, and 1 high-rank breakthrough elixir. Brother Lu, this is a small token of sincerity from my Yu family, he said. This set of resources would be enough for Brother Lu's cultivation to reach the energy refinement late stage. Moreover, if Brother Lu is willing to join my Yu family, my family would like to marry a legitimate daughter to Brother Lu as a wife. Once Brother Lu has cultivated to the energy refinement late stage and has made a significant contribution, my Yu family might even bestow a high-grade cultivation technique and teach the insights of foundation establishment, Yuning Yuan added with a hint of confidence on his face. I suppose the Lu family could not offer Lu Daoist such attractive terms, could they? He continued. Lu Changxing, looking at the spiritual wine, the magic artifact talisman brush, the 10 middle-grade spirit stones, and the high-rank breakthrough elixir in front of him, could not help but inwardly marvel at the Yu family's generosity. He instantly recognized that the brush was a top-quality magic artifact talisman brush. Together with the 10 middle-grade spirit stones and the high-rank breakthrough elixir, they were worth more than 3,000 spirit stones. It was undoubtedly a grand gesture. He understood in his heart that the Yu family was willing to pay such a price because they had seen the potential of his talents in the talisman path. They knew that in the future, he wouldn't just be a superior talisman master, but had the potential to become a second-grade talisman master. Otherwise, a superior talisman master alone would not be worth such a huge investment for the Yu family to recruit. And to go so far as to marry off a legitimate daughter and to grant a high-grade cultivation technique. In powerful cultivation families, legitimate children seldom marry out of the family. For example, Yu Ningrong, who married Yu Maoqing, was only a member of a side branch of the Yu family. Third young master Yu, I am very sorry, but ever since I was insignificant, I have been with the Lu family, which has brought me up to where I am today. I truly cannot do something that would betray my family, Lu Changxing expressed with a regretful bow. If he were an ordinary cultivator, faced with this offer, it would indeed be challenging to refuse. After all, with wealth, a woman, cultivation techniques, and the prospect of being part of the Yu family of by Lake Mountain, it was a complete package. Especially high-rank cultivation techniques and insights into foundation establishment, for an ordinary cultivator, they were absolutely irresistible. Even though every cultivator knew that their chances of foundation establishment were slim, the mere mention of anything related to it got them excited and hooked. After all, foundation establishment was the dream of countless cultivators. Even the slightest chance of success would be fiercely sought after. As soon as he expressed this, Yuan, who had a faintly confident smile on his face, stiffened. He looked at Lu Changxing with some astonishment. Unexpectedly, after all his persuasion, Lu Changxing was still not tempted. Chapter 208, Second Master, the big boss is in trouble. He actually refused me. To think, when he first received the task and saw the conditions the family was offering, he even had doubts. He felt the terms were too generous. It was only after the family told him about Lu Changxing's talent in the talisman path that he reluctantly accepted. But he never expected that at this very moment, Lu Changxing would actually refuse. It left him completely baffled as to what was going on. Lu Daoist, you might not be fully aware of the current situation of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. I can tell you directly that the lifespan of the Lu family ancestor is likely within these 3 to 5 years. And the Lu family has absolutely no way to obtain a foundation establishment elixir, definitely unable to produce a new foundation establishment great cultivator, and their previous attempts to find one in the Purple Shadow secret realm were fruitless. Under such circumstances, the downfall of the Lu family is already destined. Why must you? Yuan spoke up, his tone no longer as polite. However, before he could finish, a look of sudden realization dawned on Yuan's face. He understood why Lu Changxing had refused him. I see, it must be because of your wives and concubines, since all your wives, concubines, and children are with the Lu family. Rest assured, Lu Daoist, as long as you join the Yu family, when the Lu family falls, my Yu family can step in and try our best to protect your wives, concubines, and children. Moreover, I've heard that you, Lu Daoist, are fond of the company of women, never happy without them, which is just like me. As long as you are willing to join the Yu family, you can enjoy all my 36 concubines and 72 maids. Yuan said with a confident smile on his face. Lu Changxing, upon hearing this, didn't even know what to say for a moment. This third young master of the Yu family had rendered him silent. He didn't know whether to call this third young master of the Yu family generous or something else. He just couldn't keep up with the other's train of thought. Lu Daoist, what do you think? If it comes to that, your children born in the future, I will let them recognize you as their godfather. Or, if you really have someone you like, I can give you a few of my concubines. Thinking he had seen through Lu Changxing's thoughts and confident of victory, Yuan spoke based on the information he had about Lu Changxing. He also thought about the great sacrifice he was making to get Lu Changxing to join the Yu family, and how his own family would surely reward him handsomely upon his return. Lu has no intention of betraying the Lu family at the moment, and also thanks young Master Yu for his hospitality. Lu Changxing didn't know what to say. He felt he couldn't quite connect with this young master of the Yu family. If the other party had continued to be as polite as before, treating the deal as a gentleman's agreement and parting as friends upon its failure, but with things as they were, he really didn't know what to say and thus took his leave. Lu Changxing, you? Seeing that he had offered such great benefits and yet Lu Changxing didn't appreciate them, a hint of anger appeared on Yuan's face, as he wanted to say something. But remembering that they were still in the marketplace, he ultimately held back. He just snorted coldly and put the items from the table back into his storage bag. Brother Lu, I'm truly sorry for this time. Seeing Lu Changxing walk down the stairs alone, Yu Maoqing, waiting downstairs, guessed the outcome. Knowing that the conversation hadn't gone well, he apologized with a bow. It's nothing. Lu Changxing returned the bow and left the Jade Meal Pavilion without saying anything else. I wonder if what this third young master of the Yu family said earlier was true or false. After leaving the Jade Meal Pavilion, Lu Changxing thought about some of the things the young master of the Yu family had said. About the current situation of the Lu family. He knew the situation of the Lu family was not optimistic, but the words of this young master of the Yu family made it sound as if the Lu family was on the brink of destruction. He even vaguely felt that once the Lu family ancestor died, not only the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley, but also the Yu family of Bai Lake Mountain would come to take a share of the spoils. Whether this young master yes words are true or not, I must make proper arrangements for my wives and concubines, Lu Changsheng reflected in his mind. As for himself, he wasn't too worried, having the power to protect himself. The main consideration is still regarding wives, concubines, and children. If a crisis falls upon the Lu family, how should I take all my wives, concubines, and children to safety? In this moment, Lu Changsheng clearly recognized why most cultivators are alone. Because most of the time, being a loner and walking the Great Tao alone is indeed far better than having a family to look after. As for me, it can't even be said that I'm just taking a family along anymore. It's more like moving a small clan. However, since I've chosen this path, the path of many children bring much happiness, Lu Changxing naturally wouldn't complain about the trouble at this time. Feeling that there are too many wives and children. Its strength, in the end, it's still a lack of strength. If I had the strength of foundation establishment, none of these matters would be a problem. Lu Changxing let out a sigh, deeply feeling the importance of strength. His own strength was only sufficient for self-preservation. Yet it was not enough to protect all his wives and children. Regarding the wives, he'll think about it after returning to Qingzhou Mountain in 2 months and see how to arrange things. It's just that having met this young master of the Yu family, I should inform the Lu family about it. Otherwise, once the Lu family finds out later, they might harbor some suspicions, Lu Changsheng pondered in his heart. The issue of the Bai family's young master pursuing Lu Miaoge earlier, and this young master of the Yu family offering a high price to poach someone, he felt that the Lu family was probably facing quite a few such incidents. Since I've encountered it myself, it's best to let the Lu family know in advance, to avoid any misunderstandings later on. After all, it's a matter that can be explained with just a few words. After nightfall, Lu Changsheng left the spiritual talisman shop and headed to the Lu family's large courtyard in the eastern district. He paid his respects to the second elder and spoke of today's events. Changsheng, you're considerate. Upon hearing Lu Changsheng's words, the second elder revealed a smile and patted his shoulder, saying, "The Yu family sent someone to poach you, surely offering a significant price. Your refusal to be swayed shows that our Lu family didn't misjudge you. Rest assured, our Lu family has been standing on Qingzhou Mountain for hundreds of years, and we are not so easily toppled," the second elder declared. Second elder, if not for the Lu family, I, Lu Changxing, would not be where I am today. I will surely advance or retreat together with the Lu family, Lu Changxing said with a firm expression. He didn't care whether the second elder's words were true or false, whether the Lu family's situation was good or bad. Since he was still with the Lu family, he must maintain the proper attitude. Very good, as long as you have this intention, that's enough. Seeing this, the second elder nodded with relief and patted Lu Changsheng's shoulder again. Meanwhile, in the great dream Immortal city, the Lu family ancestor of Qingzhou Mountain has only a few years left to live. Meng Xiaochan learned of a piece of news, her eyes flickering with contemplation before she left her cave dwelling and departed from the great dream Immortal city. In the blink of an eye, more than a month passed. The incident with the third young master of the Yu family was just a minor interlude for Lu Changxing. It hadn't affected his life in any significant way. He continued his daily routine of cultivation, talisman making, working, and assisting Xiaoqing with dual cultivation. Although he said he was helping Xiaoqing with dual cultivation, he himself also benefited quite a bit. Since something needed to be done anyway, cultivation was joyful and also improved his cultivation level. With his slight control, Xiaoqing did not get pregnant. But 2 other maids did. Lu Changxing didn't mind. After all, he couldn't just stop having children because the Lu family situation was not looking good, could he? These maids in the 9 Dragons market, the affairs of the Lu family, would not affect them here. On this day, Lu Changxing was meditating on the 2nd floor of the spiritual talisman shop when suddenly a rush of panicky voices came. "Second master, something terrible has happened. The first master has been gravely injured, unconscious, and might not make it." Chapter 209. Sister Miaoge, offended. Understand what? Sister Miaoga is critically injured, unconscious, and might not make it? Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng's eyes suddenly opened wide, with a sword-like gleam flashing through them. He hastily got up and walked out of the room, looking at Zhang Shan and asking what had happened. Second Master, I really don't know what happened. Just now, my wife saw the badly injured big boss in the city and hurriedly brought her here, but she was already unconscious by the time she arrived, Zhang Shan said anxiously. After hearing this, Lu Changsheng didn't ask any more questions and immediately went downstairs. He arrived at the first-floor lounge. There, he immediately saw Zhang Shan's wife, Bai Su, propping Lu Miaoga up in a chair. At that moment, Lu Miaoga's exquisitely beautiful face, as pure as snow, was incredibly pale without a trace of color, and fresh blood was oozing from the corner of her mouth. Her beautiful eyes were dim and closed, her eyebrows slightly furrowed, showing signs of pain. Her snow-white dress was somewhat disheveled and torn, stained red with blood. On her back, there was a noticeable wound from which black malevolent energy was seeping out. Lu Changsheng could tell at a glance that Lu Miaoga was in very bad shape. Her vitality was faint, and death was pervading her. Sister Miaoga. Seeing Lu Miaoga in this condition, Lu Changsheng's face changed, and he stepped forward to support her. He took out a porcelain bottle from his storage bag, poured out an elixir, and put it into Lu Miaoga's mouth. This was the first-grade top-quality healing pill he had bought himself, known for its restorative effects. He then took out a dew talisman and used it on Lu Miaoga. Changsheng, hearing Lu Changsheng's voice, Lu Miaoga barely opened her eyes. Her pale face managed to show a faint smile, seemingly wanting to say something. But as soon as she opened her mouth, blood seeped from the corner of her lips. No use, such an injury has already damaged the heart meridian and is spreading throughout the body. To heal and save a life, at least a second-rank top-quality elixir, or even a third-rank elixir would be needed. Lu Changsheng grasped Lu Miaoga's wrist to check her condition. He found that her situation was extremely dire. She was completely in a critical state, as if the oil was gone and the lamp was burning out. Not only were her injuries severe, but the strike on her back also had a tyrannical force that was eroding and devouring Lu Miaoga's spiritual power and vitality. His ordinary healing pills and talisman spells were utterly ineffective. What to do, what to do? Thoughts raced through Lu Changsheng's mind at high speed. He pondered how to save Lu Miaoga. After all, he had always held special affection for Lu Miaoga, the young lady, in his heart. The two had known each other for so many years, spent so much time together, and had developed deep feelings for each other. Even in his heart, Lu Changsheng had long considered Lu Miaoga his woman, the mother of his future children. This situation made it impossible for Lu Changsheng to watch Lu Miaoga die. A third-rank elixir is simply impossible to buy. A second-rank life-saving elixir isn't so easy to obtain either. Moreover, there's no time for me to look for a second-rank elixir now. In this situation, only by asking a foundation establishment great cultivator skilled in healing is there a hope of saving her life. Lu Changsheng could only think of two methods, but neither was feasible. Just then he suddenly thought of a method: dual cultivation. In the yin-yang harmony technique, there was a recorded secret technique. Nirvana art, this was a replenishing technique. By continuously harnessing a woman's fundamental yin energy, the great medicine of the human body, it could be used to heal one's own injuries and attain rebirth. Lu Changsheng, who had thoroughly comprehended the yin-yang harmony technique, was very clear about this. This cultivation technique could be practiced in reverse, with yin and yang interchanging. Using his own pure yang energy, the essence of his human body, to nourish a woman, to treat her injuries and allow for a rebirth. But I'm no longer a pure yang body, and my cultivation is only at the qi refinement realm. Even if I use the nirvana art, the effect is limited, and against such injuries, it's not certain that she can be saved, Lu Changsheng thought to himself. He knew that even with such a secret technique, it wouldn't be simple to save Lu Miaoga. Moreover, his relationship with Lu Miaoga hadn't progressed to that stage. And it wouldn't be right to use such a secret technique to save someone. Changsheng, Be careful when you go out. The assailant is no ordinary robber cultivator. They came prepared, Lu Miaoge said, coughing up blood. Sister Miaoge, don't talk right now, you must hold on. Lu Changxing immediately said. He could see that Lu Miaoge was hanging on by a thread. Once she finished speaking her mind and her mental spirit relaxed, she would pass away. Cough cough. Changxing, you once asked me what I looked for in a Dao companion. Actually, I think you're quite suitable, it's just that you're too sentimental. And you already have? Miaoyan, however, dying in front of you, I am already content. Cough cough. My only regret is the despair of never reaching foundation establishment. I hope you can experience it for me. Lu Miaoge, knowing she was about to die, spoke her true feelings. And she didn't forget to encourage Lu Changxing to continue cultivating. As soon as she finished speaking, her eyes began to dim. Sister Miaoge, hold on, I have a way to save you. Lu Changxing said directly. At this moment he no longer hesitated or overthought. He decided to use the Nirvana art to treat Lu Miaoge. Because apart from the Nirvana art, Lu Changxing had no other options. As for losing her innocence and exposing his techniques, Lu Changxing didn't want to think too much about that at this time. Saving her was what mattered most. Besides, she had now confessed her feelings. After the treatment, she would become the mother of his children. Having made his decision, Lu Changxing no longer hid his abilities. He infused his 7 luminaries' spiritual power into Lu Miaoge's body, first to halt the malevolent energy at her wound from destroying her vitality. Changxing. Lu Miaoge, feeling the spiritual power surge into her body, was momentarily startled. She hadn't expected Lu Changxing's spiritual power to be so robust. But just speaking had used up all her strength, and her consciousness was fading fast. Chapter 210. Sister Miaoge, offended. I'm going to heal Sister Miaoge. Don't let anyone disturb me. Lu Changxing knew he couldn't delay any longer. After speaking, he gently lifted Lu Miaoge's delicate and soft body and swiftly made his way to the 3rd floor. He then took out a set of formation tools from his storage bag and laid them out. He set up the superior formation Heavenly Canopy 5 Elements formation, which he had obtained from Xia Long. He brought Lu Miaoge to the bedroom and laid her on the bed. Sister Miaoge, I apologize for the offense. Lu Changxing didn't hesitate. He directly began to undo her blood-stained white dress, peeling away the fabric. Her alluring fair skin was revealed. Her curves undulated, her figure captivating, as though she were heaven's perfect creation. A healer holds a parent's heart. I am now saving a life, with no other thoughts. Lu Changxing chanted to himself as he saw the usually pure and ethereal Lu Miaoge revealed without her mysterious veil, her icy beauty unveiled. But on the flawless, lustrous back of her jade-like body, there was a dark, black wound oozing with a malevolent aura. Lu Changxing took out a dew talisman from his storage bag and placed it on the wound on her back. Changxing. At that moment, the last bit of consciousness in Lu Miaoge made her pale face flush with a trace of red, and she faintly called out his name. But she was too weak to speak, and her consciousness was fading. She could only let Lu Changxing arrange her in such an embarrassing position. Sister Miaoge, I apologize for the offense. Lu Changxing repeated. And then, on the 3rd floor of the spiritual talisman shop, Lu Changxing operated the yin-yang nirvana art, channeling his own yang essence to treat Lu Miaoge's injuries. By this time, Lu Miaoge had already lost consciousness. She was barely clinging to life, sustained only by Lu Changxing's efforts. Though she was unconscious, she seemed to sense something. Her jade body, covered only by a pair of white silk luo socks, tensed slightly, her figure moving subtly. And so, as time slowly passed, the malevolent aura from the wound on Lu Miaoge's back was gradually suppressed and contained. Life began to slowly return to her body. It's working. Miss, oh miss, I'm spending my life to heal you. You'd better make it up to me when the time comes. Lu Changxing looked at the still unconscious but now slightly frowning Lu Miaoge and exhaled softly. He knew with his yang cultivation, even with the yin-yang nirvana art, it was very difficult to truly save Lu Miaoge. He decisively used another secret technique from the yin-yang harmony technique, the life transference technique. Using this method, he sacrificed his own lifespan to transfer his essence and yang essence into Lu Miaoge's body. Whew! Lu Changsheng took a deep breath. Then he grabbed one of the white-socked, delicate jade feet and continued the healing. Down on the first floor of the spiritual talisman shop. What's going on with Miaoge? What's the situation now? How is my sister doing? The second elder and Lu Miaohuan rushed to the spiritual talisman shop upon learning of Lu Miaoge's situation to inquire. Second elder Lu, I'm unclear about the situation as well. At the time, the master was already at death's door, with only a thread of life remaining. But second master said he had a way to save her, so he took the master to the third floor and said he must not be disturbed. Zhang Shan sighed slightly as he spoke. He was also a cultivator. Though he was only at the 6th level of qi refinement, he could see that Lu Miaoge was almost at death's door. Unless there was some elixir or a foundation establishment great cultivator skilled in healing, there might be a chance to save her. How long has it been and there's still no response? Lu Miaohuan asked anxiously, wearing a black dress, her delicate features showing urgency. She was a bit rebellious and liked to oppose her sister Lu Miaoge, but the love between the two sisters was still deep. It's been one day, but I don't know the specifics and didn't dare to disturb them. Zhang Shan said. 1 day already? That's too long. No, I have to go see. Upon hearing this, Lu Miaohuan said urgently, wanting to go upstairs to check. Miss Lu, this second master specifically instructed not to disturb him. Zhang Shan displayed a troubled expression. Miaohuan. Seeing this, the second elder immediately called out to Lu Miaohuan. If Changxing says he has a way to save Miaoge, perhaps he really does. The second elder thought of the old ancestor once saying that Lu Changxing was a person of great destiny. Perhaps he truly had a way to heal Lu Miaoge. Moreover, so much time had passed, and they could only rely on Lu Changxing now. Miaoge has talismans and magic artifacts for protection. Ordinary robber cultivators are no match for her. It's very likely that this time it wasn't an ordinary robber cultivator, but someone who came prepared. I will notify the family of the situation, and Miaohuan, you must not leave the 9 Dragons Market. It's best if you stay in the big courtyard. The second elder continued speaking to Lu Miaohuan. Then he looked at Zhang Shan. If Changxing comes out, please let someone inform me. Don't worry, second elder Lu, if the master comes out, they'll send someone to notify you immediately. Zhang Shan gave a fist salute and nodded. Back on the 3rd floor of the spiritual talisman shop, Lu Changxing was still treating Lu Miaoge. Just then, a soft, tender moan sounded. Lu Changxing heard the noise and instantly felt joy in his heart. He knew that Lu Miaoge's condition had improved. He immediately intensified the treatment, careful not to lose the hard-won spark of life. But as he looked at the woman before him, with her hair like a waterfall, skin like snow, and a graceful figure, Lu Changxing suddenly realized an issue. What if Lu Miaoge woke up? Given the current situation, he felt somewhat awkward about how to face her. After all, the relationship between him and Lu Miaoge wasn't that close. Although he was doing this to save her, for someone like Lu Miaoge, her purity was of great importance. Chapter 211. Sister Miaoge, Offended. As Lu Changxing was pondering how to face Lu Miaoge when she woke up, he heard her soft moan again. The sound was tender and contained a slight hint of inhibited endurance. In that moment, Lu Changxing immediately realized that Lu Miaoge was very likely awake. Lu Changxing wanted to speak up, but for a moment, he didn't know what to say. Looking at Lu Miaoge with her beautiful eyes tightly shut and suppressing her voice, Lu Changxing suddenly understood. In this situation, it wasn't just him who felt awkward. Lu Miaoge felt awkward too. She didn't know how to face him either. After all, Lu Miaoge's personality was gentle and aloof. Her heartfelt confessions earlier had been prompted by the face of impending death. Now, having revived and under these circumstances, it naturally made Lu Miaoge uncertain how to react. Like an ostrich, she continued to pretend to be unconscious, trying hard not to make any sound. Understanding the gist of the situation, and seeing Lu Miaoge like this, Lu Changxing thought of a way to alleviate the awkwardness. His palm gently caressed Lu Miaoge's back, smooth as white jade and flawless as if the injuries had never existed. At this moment, the injured skin on her back had healed completely, smooth like jade, leaving no trace of wounds. Then, Lu Changxing gently embraced Lu Miaoge. Burying his head into her slender, jade-like neck, he inhaled the faint fragrance of her hair. In these conditions, Lu Miaoge still kept her beautiful eyes firmly shut. But her pale cheeks were flushed to the tips of her ears, her breathing somewhat rapid. The words spoken before dying. The situation at the moment made Lu Miaoge feel so embarrassed and ashamed, she wished she hadn't woken up, that she had just died instead. But then she thought of Lu Changxing's worried and caring look. Right now, the treatment he was giving her was solely to save her life. She could distinctly feel the continuous flow of vitality entering her body through this method, healing her injuries. And her injuries had been contained. It was just that she still felt incredibly weak. Knowing that Lu Changxing's actions definitely involved significant sacrifice. Otherwise, with the severity of her injuries, she would have been beyond saving. As her thoughts scattered, with Lu Changxing's treatment speeding up, Lu Miaoge gradually found it harder to suppress her bodhi's instincts, clinging tightly to the sheets, biting her lips. Hoping for Lu Changxing to finish the treatment soon so he would leave. Otherwise, she really didn't know how to confront Lu Changxing. After all, she had a fondness for Lu Changxing, but her feelings weren't yet deep. Usually, she somewhat regarded him as a younger brother. Moreover, nominally, Lu Changxing was her brother-in-law. To be in such a state with her brother-in-law, Lu Changxing, of course, had no idea what Lu Miaoge was thinking. He continued tirelessly, growing more vigorous in his efforts. After all, Lu Miaoge's condition was indeed still weak and needed stabilizing through treatment. He was also observing Lu Miaoge's condition, gauging her limits, careful not to take his teasing too far. After all, such matters had to be taken one step at a time. Time ticked away. How much longer will this last if I don't wake up? Will Changxing keep going like this? But isn't it said in the book? Lu Miaoge gasped for air, her entire body felt slack like mud under the treatment. Unaware of how much longer Lu Changxing would take. She thought to herself that she should have spoken up when she woke up. Now numb and limp, she didn't even have the strength to talk. At that moment, seeing Lu Miaoge sweating profusely and her feet arched in tension, Lu Changxing knew her condition was temporarily stable and he let out a low growl, ending the treatment. Afterward, he collapsed as if completely drained of energy, falling into unconsciousness. Changxing! Lu Miaoge came back to her senses from the lingering aftermath and saw Lu Changxing lying motionless. She couldn't help but call out to him twice. But seeing that Lu Changxing gave no response, her heart couldn't help but race, her mind in turmoil. She worried that Lu Changxing might have harmed himself in the process of saving her. Pop, Lu Miaoge pursed her lips slightly and propped herself up a bit to look at Lu Changxing. She immediately saw Lu Changxing's handsome face, which was exhausted and pale. Changxing! Lu Miaoge called out with concern, wanting to check on Lu Changxing's condition. And just at that moment, Lu Changxing opened his tired eyes. Sister Miaoge, you're awake. That's great. Lu Changxing looked at Lu Miaoge and showed a weak but happy smile. Changxing, are you all right? Lu Miaoge asked concernedly. I'm fine, just a bit drained, cough cough. Lu Changxing spoke softly. Sister Miaoge, I'm sorry at that time, cough cough cough. I wasn't thinking about much, I just wanted to save you, so. After a moment of silence, Lu Miaoge, with a complex look in her eyes, bit her lip gently, and said softly, Changxing, don't blame yourself, thank you for saving me. Sister Miaoge, I will take responsibility, cough. When the time comes, I will ask the family head for your hand in marriage. Would you like to marry me? Lu Changxing continued, his face weak but filled with hope. Marry a proposal. Upon hearing this, Lu Maiage's mind was in chaos. She didn't quite know how to reply for a while. The pace of this change in their relationship was too rapid. It took her a moment to adjust, to come back to her senses from the current situation. Sister Miaoge, don't you want to? Lu Changsheng said somewhat disheartened. Changsheng, can you give me some time? Lu Miaoge, holding one of Lu Changsheng's hands, looked into his eyes tenderly. Cough, cough, okay. Lu Changsheng nodded gently. He knew that Lu Miaoge must be feeling very confused right now. The deed was already done. There was no need to rush at this moment. Changsheng, are you sure you're all right? To save me, you must have paid a significant price, right? Lu Miaoge said with a face full of concern. Lu Changsheng looked as if he had something to say but couldn't bring himself to say it. After a moment of silence, he said, I'm fine, I just need some rest. Changsheng, please tell me the truth. Seeing Lu Changsheng looking like this, how could Lu Miaoge possibly believe that he was fine? Sister Miaoge, you should know that I have some secrets. This time it was a type of dual cultivation secret technique, Lu Changsheng confessed quietly. I know, I do not blame you. Changsheng, everyone has their secrets. I realized early on you were different from ordinary cultivators. Don't worry, I will definitely keep your secret safe, Lu Miaoge immediately asserted, her pale face turning serious as she raised her hand as if to swear. I naturally trust you, Sister Miaoge. What I mean is, this type of healing belongs to a kind of dual cultivation technique. If I wish to recover slowly, I must use another kind of dual cultivation secret technique. Lu Changsheng said with a wry smile. After hearing his words, Lu Miaoge blushed deeply, her embarrassment reaching her ears. But considering their current situation, she bit her lip and nodded. Afterward, Lu Changsheng passed on the tender embrace technique to Lu Miaoge. P.S. The second chapter will be a bit late, but it will come. Chapter 212. 70 Kids Draw Lottery, Profound Origin Bead. _1 Spiritual Talisman Shop, 3rd floor. Inside the bedroom, a man and a woman embraced in sleep. Scattered beside the bed were a green bamboo leaf brocade robe and blood-stained white clothes, undergarments, and a lotus corset. Lu Miaoge woke up. Looking at Lu Changsheng, who was still hugging her in his sleep, the events of the past few days flashed through her mind. Her already pale cheeks instantly flushed with color, red as blood. She even felt as if she was dreaming. At first, it was Lu Changsheng healing her wounds. But then, it turned into her healing Lu Changsheng's wounds. After that, it became the two of them healing through dual cultivation. Thinking of the details of the dual cultivation process, and how Lu Changsheng had playfully tormented her, Lu Miaoge couldn't help but blush to the tips of her ears and touched her lower abdomen. Sigh. She let out a helpless sigh. She could only say it was fortunate they were healing through dual cultivation. Otherwise, she feared that in a few months' time upon her return, she would have to go back with a bulging belly. Thinking of going back with a bulging belly, the gazes of her father, the fourth elder, and Lu Miaoyun, she dared not continue the thought. Lu Miaoge no longer dwelled on the thought and slightly sat up. Looking at the marks on her flawless body, her gaze towards Lu Changsheng was filled with a trace of resentment. She couldn't help thinking, no wonder Lu Changsheng had so many wives and concubines. If there were only one, how could she withstand such rough treatment? Lu Miaoge took out a new set of clothes from her storage bag and dressed herself, restoring her usual ethereal and elegant appearance. Sister Miaoge. At this moment, Lu Changsheng, hearing the movement, also woke up. He wasn't pretending to be asleep. This round of healing indeed left him extremely exhausted and weary. Changsheng, you're awake. How is your body feeling? Lu Miaoge pursed her lips and asked tenderly with a voice like a virtuous wife and loving mother. It's not too bad. With a few more sessions of dual cultivation, I should be able to fully recover, Lu Changsheng said, smiling and speaking frankly. Dual cultivating with Xiaoqing wasn't much help to him. But dual cultivating with Lu Miaoge was indeed much more effective. It was almost equivalent to half a month of arduous cultivation. However, he couldn't solely rely on this method for cultivation. Occasionally using dual cultivation to advance was beneficial for both men and women. But if it was too frequent, it could lead to an unstable foundation. Lu Miaoge, hearing the words, dual cultivation, couldn't help but blush. Although dual cultivation was beneficial for her as well. She had experienced it over these days. But she still found it somewhat difficult to let go. Sister Miaoge, what exactly happened with the attack you encountered? Lu Changxing knew Lu Miaoge was a bit shy, so he got dressed and changed the subject. On my way here, I encountered 4 law cultivators at the late stage of energy refinement, she responded softly. They all concealed their faces, but through their methods, it was obvious they came prepared, specifically targeting me, she continued. However, I don't know who they were or who they were acting under. It might be the Qin family who sent them, but it's also possible that other families were involved, trying to shift the disaster eastward and give the Qin family trouble. Lu Miaoge spoke quietly. Lu Changxing nodded upon hearing her words. If they concealed their faces and auras, it would be really difficult to identify them and find out who was behind the act. After all, when the wall falls, everybody pushes. The situation with the Lu family, as Lu Miaoge described, other families could very likely be involved. Sister Miaoge, let's leave this matter to be handled by the family, Lu Changxing said. Regarding your condition, you can announce to the outside world that your heart meridians were damaged, which might bring some unexpected benefits, he suggested. Under his treatment, Lu Miaoge's body wasn't damaged to the point of affecting her heart meridians, but she still needed to recover for a while. Saying so would not only create a smokescreen but also help conceal the effects of his treatment. All right, I will inform them as such when the time comes. Lu Miaoge nodded slightly in response. She continued, by now, the second elder should also be aware. We should go and inform him, so as not to worry him. She had already become accustomed to sharing a room with Lu Changxing. But now that their relationship had progressed further, she was somewhat unsure how to act around him. Sitting like this, she couldn't help but be reminded of the events of the last few days, leaving her heart in turmoil. We should let him know, Lu Changxing agreed. The incident involving Lu Miaohuan and Jing Yongshan had reached Lu Miaoge's ears. Now that Lu Miaoge was seriously injured, the second elder would definitely have been informed. Changxing, regarding the healing, I will keep it a secret and claim that you came across an elixir and a secret technique by chance. As for what has transpired between us, let's not mention it to anyone for now, all right? Lu Miaoge took a breath, her voice carrying a bit of a plea. She could face Lu Changxing normally, but she wasn't sure how to deal with what had happened between them, or how to face the fourth elder and Lu Miaoyun. All right, I'll listen to you, Sister Miaoge. I definitely won't mention it to anyone, Lu Changxing responded with a smile. He was also aware that their relationship had taken quite a sudden leap forward these past few days. The affection between them needed more time to grow. Afterward, he cleaned up the traces left in the bedroom from the past days and went downstairs. First master, second master, Zhang Shan greeted them respectfully as they descended from the upper floor. He conveyed the information regarding the second elder and Lu Miaohuan's visit. Thank you, Uncle Zhang. Aunt Bai was a great help with Sister Miaoge's situation. This is a small token of my gratitude, Lu Changxing said, taking out 3 superior-grade talismans from the storage bag as a thank you gift. If it hadn't been for Zhang Shan's wife getting Lu Miaoge to him in time, he might not have had the chance to see her again. Second master, you're too kind, Zhang Shan said, waving his hand in denial. But seeing Lu Changxing's insistence, Zhang Shan accepted the talismans. After all, 3 superior-grade talismans were not a small sum for him. Chapter 213, Lottery Draw for 70 Kids, Profound Origin Bead. Watching Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge leave side by side, looking like a golden boy and jade girl, Zhang Shan couldn't help but take a few more glances. He always felt that today, the 2 bosses seemed to have become much closer, but he couldn't quite put his finger on where. Regarding this, he didn't pay much attention, as it was none of his business. Eastern District, Lu family's large courtyard. Miaoge, I'm glad you're all right. Changxing, I owe you a great debt this time. Rest assured, I will report this to the family and apply for a reward for you, the second elder said upon seeing the somewhat pale faces of Lu Miaoge and Lu Changxing. He couldn't help but inwardly remark that indeed, as the old ancestor had said, Lu Changxing was a person of great destiny and had opportunities at his disposal. If it weren't for Lu Changxing this time, perhaps Lu Miaoge would have been in danger. Lu Miaoge was not only talented but also a high-quality talisman master. If something had actually happened to her, it would have been adding frost to snow for the Lu family's current situation. You flatter me, second elder. This is what I should do, Lu Changxing said with a bow. Soon after, the second elder also expressed that he had already sent a message back to the Lu family. Moreover, he would ask the enforcement team of the Nine Dragons Market to investigate the perpetrator behind the scenes. If an ordinary loose cultivator died, they'd be dead, no one would know or care. But Lu Miaoge, as a descendant of the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, having encountered an assassination near the Nine Dragons Market and returning to the marketplace severely wounded, the marketplace would have to give an explanation. After all, such an incident would also reflect poorly on the marketplace itself. Most cultivators come to the marketplace seeking stability. If there are such bold robber cultivators who even ambush the descendants of cultivation families, it would naturally cause loose cultivators to feel uneasy and affect the marketplace's traffic. Meanwhile, in an inn at the Nine Dragons Market, how could you fail at such a simple task? 4 of you, and yet you still couldn't kill a 7th-level energy refinement cultivator. Third young master of the Yu family, Yuning Yuan, said to the 4 people before him, his face dark with anger. Third young master, Lu Miaoge survived by using talismans to escape near the marketplace, so we didn't dare continue the pursuit, and she had been hit by my black fiend's slash, with her life force beginning to fade, so her death seemed certain. I have no idea how she managed to survive. A stocky middle-aged man said while bowing. He also couldn't understand how Lu Miaoge had managed to survive. A bunch of useless trash. The third young master of the Yu family huffed coldly. He came here not only to poach Lu Changxing, but also had other motives. That was to eliminate Lu Changxing, Lu Miaoge, and several other Lu family disciples as much as possible. Not only could it severely damage the vitality of the Lu family, but it would also infuriate them. When these things came to light, the Lu family would immediately suspect the Chen family. The Lu family was already like a trapped beast, constantly in friction with the Chen family. Once these incidents emerged, the conflict would explode, leading to an all-out confrontation with the Chen family. But he hadn't expected that the 4 people he had arranged failed to kill Lu Miaoge, a 7th-level energy refinement cultivator. And now that this incident had occurred, the Lu family members would surely be on guard, making it harder to find another opportunity. System. After Lu Changxing returned home, he murmured inwardly and opened the system interface. Name, Lu Changxing. Status, son-in-law of Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain. Cultivation level, 7th level energy refinement. Lifespan, 27/155. Talent, 6th grade spiritual root. Cultivation techniques, 100 refinements treasure body art, 7 luminaries great freedom sword scripture. Spells, flame bullet technique, wind control skill, object manipulating technique, aura concealment technique, spiritual eye technique, sound transmitting technique. Skills, talisman making, 2nd. Rank, puppet, 2nd rank. Spiritual pets, 9 Netherhound, Peach Blossom Goo, Offspring, 68/81. View details, 155, which means, saving that person cost me 8 years of my lifespan, Lu Changxing murmured as he checked his lifespan through the system. He knew that saving someone using the life transference technique and the nirvana art had cost him his own lifespan, but didn't know exactly how many years had been consumed. Now, seeing it on the system interface gave him a clear understanding. It seems that I really can't do this too often, otherwise no amount of lifespan would be enough. Lu Changxing couldn't help but exhale deeply. However, he wasn't overly concerned. Mainly because he was still young and had a lot of lifespan left, so he wasn't in a rush. Already 68 children. I wonder if at 70 the system will give any more child money? Lu Changsheng thought to himself. Given the current situation of the Lu family, the urgency to improve his strength had intensified. But to enhance one's strength, apart from relying on time to cultivate, the fastest method was through opportunities. While others obtained chances through exploring relics and antecedents caves, he naturally relied on having children and then receiving child money from the system. In the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. Third floor of the spiritual talisman shop. Chapter 214. 70 Children's Draw, Profound Origin Bead. Lu Miaoge gave Lu Changsheng a peck on the cheek and then threw back the covers. A pair of slender, jade-like legs stretched out, and the crystal-clear, crescent moon-like feet touched the ground, presenting her beautifully curved figure as she quickly dressed. She restored herself to the usual ethereal beauty, as pure as snow and as elegant as a celestial. However, at this moment, the tenderness on her face made her seem less ethereal than usual. Chongqing, I will head there first. Lu Miaoge said gently. All right, Sister Miaoge, be careful. Lu Changsheng nodded. With the beautiful lady having departed, Lu Changsheng also got up, exhaled softly, and dressed himself. He could feel that, although Lu Miaoge was close and intimate with him, she seemed to be indulging and appeasing him a bit. Or rather, Lu Miaoge didn't entertain the idea of marrying him. Therefore, she tried to accommodate him in other aspects, as a form of compensation. After all, we are missing a certain opportunity. Or perhaps, the young lady has a hurdle in her heart she can't overcome. Lu Changsheng had a rough idea of why Lu Miaoge behaved this way. One reason was the issue with the fourth elder and Lu Miaoyun, which Lu Miaoge didn't know how to face. The other was having children. Lu Miaoge still harbored the ambition of the path of cultivation, aiming for a slim chance at foundation establishment. Having children would undoubtedly delay and affect her cultivation. Sigh, I don't necessarily need to have children either. Lu Changsheng shook his head. As for having children, he also left it to personal choice. If Lu Miaoge truly didn't want to, he wouldn't force her to do anything. After all, he very much understood such matters for cultivators. However, in his case, with many wives, concubines, and maids, children were plenty. Any woman marrying him was likely influenced, feeling the need to have at least a couple of children. But now I have to stay here for half a year, the matter of having children will have to be put aside. Lu Changsheng sighed. He thought of how he had sent back to Qingzhou Mountain all his maids with spiritual roots. Now, in Nine Dragons Marketplace, aside from Shao Qing, the other maids did not possess spiritual roots. Under such circumstances, his plans for superior progeny became somewhat challenging. Do I need to visit the White Jade Tower again? Lu Changsheng pondered to himself. It's been a long time since I've performed a good deed, they'll take it as doing something good. After considering, Lu Changsheng decided to make a trip to the White Jade Tower after all. After all, his efforts at breeding superior offspring mustn't cease. Counting Lu Miaoge, he only had 11 wives, concubines, and maids with spiritual roots. Meanwhile, Red Leaf Valley. Senior, are you saying that you are willing to lend a hand to the Chen family? Chen family patriarch Chen Shuisheng asked the petite youth before him, with respect. Indeed, I have an old grudge with someone from the Lu family. Hearing that there is a blood feud between your Chen family and the Lu family, and with the Lu family ancestor about to pass away, I've come to settle this grudge and, by the way, claim a share of the spoils. Meng Xiaochan said aloud. That would certainly be acceptable. May I know what conditions or requirements you have, senior? Chen Shuisheng continued respectfully upon hearing this. After all, despite his unimpressive appearance, the slim youth before him was a foundation establishment great cultivator. In the blink of an eye, more than a month had passed. Lu Changsheng had also added 3 maids in his courtyard at the Nine Dragons Market. They were, of course, the unfortunate souls he had rescued from White Jade Tower. All 3 possessed spiritual roots. However, their spiritual roots were not high, only 9th grade spiritual roots. It wasn't that Lu Changsheng had run out of spirit stones. He thought that since he couldn't afford maids with middle-grade spiritual roots anyway, he might as well save some money. He also just wanted to see how much his middle-grade spiritual root would influence his children's spiritual roots. Phew! With this pace, in half a year, I should be able to break through to the 8th level energy refinement. Inside the spiritual talisman shop, Lu Changxing, who had been meditating with his eyes closed, opened his eyes and let out a long breath. Having such a cultivation speed was partly thanks to the assistance of the tender embrace technique. Another reason was that he continuously spent money and boosted his progress with elixir medicines. But with this speed of cultivation, Lu Changxing still wasn't satisfied. After finishing his cultivation session, Lu Changxing stood up and went to the talisman room, ready to draw talismans. Although he had come to 9 Dragons Market to take charge, the number of talismans he had to draw every month had indeed increased. He also had to spend quite some time each day drawing talismans. Just as he had taken out the talisman-making materials and was about to start the talisman-making process, a system prompt rang out. Congratulations to the host for having 70 descendants, you have earned 1 lucky draw chance. Really 20 portions of child money? In that case, by the looks of it, will the next one be at 90 or 100 children? Hearing this system prompt, Lu Changxing couldn't help but raise an eyebrow and speculate. However, this time, neither Jiang Luiyue nor Yu Yao's children have spiritual roots. The next moment, Lu Changxing shook his head slightly. He clearly remembered who the mothers of his 69th and 70th children were during this period. But neither of the children had shown signs of spiritual root pulsations, indicating that they did not possess spiritual roots. System, draw the prize. Without giving it too much thought, Lu Changxing silently uttered in his mind, wondering if this time the lucky draw could bring him a pleasant surprise. Immediately, the great spinning wheel of the system appeared. Begin the lucky draw. Lu Changxing said without hesitation. The spinning wheel was aglow with golden brilliance as it began to turn. It then slowly came to rest on the treasure section of the lucky draw panel. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining a rare treasure, Profound Origin Bead. The reward has been sent to the system space, and the host can check it at any time. A pattern of a deep blue bead, along with the system prompt, appeared. A rare treasure, the Profound Origin Bead? Seeing the reward he had drawn this time, Lu Changxing was somewhat curious. He immediately looked towards the system space to check out what this Profound Origin Bead was. Profound Origin Bead. Grade, 3rd rank. Description, born from the profound origin waters, it can absorb nature's spiritual energy on its own, store spiritual energy, and after refinement, it is like a cultivator's second chi ocean core. It allows an energy refinement late-stage cultivator to be comparable to foundation establishment, and a foundation establishment late-stage cultivator to be comparable to false core. Essus, it can absorb nature's spiritual energy on its own, and after refinement, it acts like a second chi ocean core. Late-stage energy refinement comparable to foundation establishment? Late-stage foundation establishment comparable to false core? Lu Changxing, looking at the description of this rare treasure before him, was taken aback. He had previously thought about whether he could draw something that would quickly enhance his strength. But that was just wishful thinking, without much expectation. To his surprise, the system had now awarded him a 3rd-rank rare treasure, the Profound Origin Bead. After refinement, late-stage energy refinement would be comparable to foundation establishment. Late-stage foundation establishment comparable to false core. Such effects were truly astonishing. Just like his own chi lake, the spiritual energy could circulate without any hindrances. With this Profound Origin Bead, I no longer have to worry about running out of spiritual energy. Lu Changxing said joyfully. Then, with a subtle motion of his mental spirit, his fingers came together, and a sword light began to form. Releasing spiritual power through spells, the force is roughly tripled due to spiritual pressure. If I exert full force, this amplification could rise a few more times. Lu Changxing gazed at the sword light in his hand, quietly sensing the changes in spiritual pressure. No wonder the profound origin bead only allows those at the energy refinement late stage to compare with foundation establishment and those at the foundation establishment late stage to compare with the false core. With this second dantian, the quantity of spiritual power I possess far exceeds that of energy refinement, almost comparing to foundation establishment. However, in terms of quality, it still cannot compare with a foundation establishment great cultivator. But my cultivation of the 7 luminaries' great freedom sword scripture, an orthodox level cultivation technique, means my foundation of spiritual power is already far superior to cultivators of the same level. By the time I peak in energy refinement, with the support of the profound origin bead, I might not be weaker than a foundation establishment great cultivator. Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly as he secretly thought. However, he also just thought about it. When he really reached the peak of energy refinement, he wouldn't rely on a treasure to attempt to challenge a foundation establishment great cultivator, who engages in battling across ranks for no reason. He wasn't the protagonist Long Outyin. And Lu Changsheng was very aware that he had a significant problem when it came to battling with spells. He had too few spells at his disposal. Aside from the 7 luminaries sword light, 7 luminaries sword shield, 7 luminaries sword escape, he had only learned flame bullet technique and object manipulating technique, these common spells. He had neither learned nor practiced slightly more advanced offensive spells. He could only rely on talismans. This profound origin bead not only helps in battle but also aids in other areas. Now when I make talismans, I don't have to worry about the consumption of spiritual energy, just my mental spirit. Lu Changsheng said happily. He usually had to meditate to recover his spiritual energy after exhausting it while drawing talismans. But now with the profound origin bead, he didn't have to worry about depleting his spiritual energy anymore. Moreover, after depleting the spiritual energy inside the profound origin bead, it could absorb nature's spiritual energy from the surroundings to slowly recover. I wonder if it's almost time for the Immortal Sects conference. At this point, Lu Changsheng suddenly remembered that in a few months, it would be time for Qingyun Sect's Immortal Sect assessment. He had previously promised to send Xianxia to Qingyun Sect for the Immortal Sect assessment. Forget it, considering the current season, going out might be risky. It would be the same if I had Hong Yi or Fei Yu take Xia Zhaoyang there. Lu Changsheng thought it over and decided not to make the trip. Although with his current strength and means, as long as he didn't encounter a foundation establishment great cultivator, it was unlikely anything would happen to him. But it was better to have one less matter to worry about. Immediately, Lu Changsheng wrote several letters and went to the marketplace post station to have them delivered to Rui County City. Time passed by, day after day. In the blink of an eye, another month went by. During this time, the 3 maids from White Jade Tower whom Lu Changsheng had recently taken in were all pregnant. Lu Changsheng didn't pay much attention to the 3 maids, he just let nature take its course. After all, such matters were neither urgent nor could they be hurried. If he truly wanted to engage in frenzied procreation, he had the 5 aggregates proliferation method within the yin-yang harmony technique, which could increase the probability of conception. Second Master, that Fairy Su has come back to place another talisman order. That day, as Lu Changsheng was on the 3rd floor studying the history of cultivation, the voice of shopkeeper Zhang Shan came from outside. Chapter 216. Danger. I must prepare for the worst. Alright, it'll come down now. Lu Changsheng nodded when he heard this. This Fairy Su, named Su Hongyu, was a major customer of the spiritual talisman shop. She had purchased quite a few talismans from the shop over the past few months. So under such circumstances, it was necessary for him, the owner, to attend to her personally. When he arrived at the reception hall on the 1st floor, he immediately saw a woman who appeared to be in her late 20s, with a beautiful face and dressed in a simple yet elegant purple palace dress. I've seen Fairy Su before. Lu Changsheng greeted her with a smile, as warm as the spring breeze. Talisman Master Lu is here. I've come this time to place a pre-order for a batch of talismans. Su Hongyu spoke with a smile upon seeing Lu Changxing, her voice warm and alluring. She then handed over a talisman procurement list. Clad in her simple and graceful palace dress, she looked elegant and decent, yet her every move radiated a seductive charm. No problem, it will take around half a month for the shop to prepare these talismans, Lu Changxing said after glancing at the list. That's fine. Su Hongyu, upon hearing his response, was quite straightforward and then signed the contract and paid the deposit. After everything was settled, Fairy Su turned to Lu Changxing, smiled gracefully, and said, "Talisman Master Lu, I've come across an ancient cave dwelling left by a predecessor outside and am currently looking for a few fellow cultivators to explore it together. Would you be interested? Fairy Su's invitation honors me greatly, but I am not skilled in combat, so I will have to decline." Lu Changxing courteously declined as soon as he heard her invitation. To be honest, this cave dwelling has certain prohibitions that are difficult to break at the moment, which is why I need to find companions for the exploration, Su Hongyu explained. But if the cultivator's cultivation level is too high, I worry they might covet the treasures for themselves. Talisman Master Lu is not of high cultivation, and being a Lu family disciple and the owner of the spiritual talisman shop, you are obviously trustworthy, which is why I sincerely invited you. Su Hongyu twisted her slender waist slightly and crossed her legs in a somewhat seductive manner as she spoke. My abilities are limited, I will not take part, but thank you for the kind offer, Fairy Su. Lu Changxing continued to refuse. And at that moment, a sense of wariness rose in his heart. Although he had conducted business with her several times, they hadn't had much contact. The sudden invitation to explore a cave dwelling made him suspicious. Furthermore, as a man who had been through numerous battles and read countless books, Lu Changxing could tell that the Su Hongyu before him seemed adept in bewitching techniques, aiming to seduce him with her demeanor and actions. Combining this with the recent situation of the Lu family, Lu Changxing couldn't help but overthink. However, he didn't care about such matters. Even if it was a trap, as long as he didn't take the bait, there would be no harm. Besides, Lu Changxing was truly uninterested in these kinds of adventures seeking ancient relics and cave dwellings. With all that idle time, he would rather go home and have a couple more kids. Not only would the system accompany the child money, but the kids could also enhance his spiritual root and strength. Since Talisman Master Lu is not interested, then I will have to look elsewhere, Su Hongyu said with a tinge of disappointment, but without insisting and still smiling. Half a month later, Zhang Shan told Lu Changxing that Fairy Su had come again. Talisman Master Lu. Su Hongyu greeted Lu Changxing with a smile. This time she was wearing a luxurious golden magical robe. The robe shimmered with spiritual light and was adorned with vivid and lifelike embroidery of a mythic bird. Lu Changxing could tell at a glance that it was at least a high-quality magical robe, if not a supreme one. Regarding her behavior, however, Lu Changxing just felt she was not right in the head. Wearing such a conspicuous garment could attract unwanted attention like a lamb ripe for the slaughter. Fairy Su, the talismans you ordered before have been prepared. Please take a look, Lu Changxing said without any further glances, taking out a pile of talismans from his storage bag. I naturally trust Talisman Master Lu. Su Hongyu took the talismans, glanced at them, and smiled. After paying the remaining amount of spirit stones, Su Hongyu continued, I was wondering if you have any first-grade prohibition-breaking talismans here? Prohibition-breaking talismans? The prohibition-breaking talisman is a first-grade supreme talisman, very difficult to create. I'm not sure how many you need, Fairy Su, but if it's only one or two, I can request one of the family elders to draw them, Lu Changxing replied. Prohibition-breaking talismans belonged to the category of first-grade supreme talismans, their difficulty akin to second-rank talismans. Even for the fourth elder, the success rate of crafting them was not high. Yet, for Lu Changxing it wasn't really a problem. However, as a business transaction, he couldn't offer more than that. The more the better, Su Hongyu said. She continued with a charming smile, Talisman Master Lu, I need the prohibition-breaking talismans for the final stage of my previous cave-dwelling exploration. It's a shame Talisman Master Lu did not come along last time. Not only was it safe, but I also made quite a profit, allowing me to afford this new magical robe, Su Hongyu said, beaming. Congratulations then, Fairy Su. Lu Changxing said, his heart remaining undisturbed as he congratulated her with a smile. He immediately added, as for the prohibition-breaking talisman, our shop can only provide 1 or 2, anything more is truly beyond our ability. Since prohibition-breaking talismans had a low success rate, even the fourth elder couldn't make much profit from them. They were essentially crafted for the sake of the shop's reputation and were sold only in small quantities. Seeing that Lu Changxing was still not tempted, Su Hongyu paid a deposit, chatted briefly, and then left. There's definitely something wrong. It's absolutely a trap. After Su Hongyu had left, Lu Changxing went back to the 3rd floor, feeling increasingly certain that Su Hongyu was up to something. She was luring him away from the marketplace. This Su Hongyu, her backers might even be the same people who tried to assassinate Sister Miaoge, Lu Changxing thought to himself. But it's a pity that I have limited strength. Otherwise, I could follow her bait, turn the tables and investigate the truth, he mused. Chapter 217, Danger. I must prepare for the worst. But in the end, I am just a minor qi refinement cultivator. There is no need to take risks. Time flies and more than 2 months pass. During this time, Lu Changxing acquired 3 more spiritual root maids from the White Jade Tower. He got 2 of them with child. As for the maids without a spiritual root, after 6 of them became pregnant, Lu Changxing controlled himself and did not impregnate any more. After all, there has to be some maids to do chores and take care of the children on regular days. In between, Su Hongyu also made 2 more visits. However, she did not invite Lu Changxing to explore the cave mansion again. Instead, she expressed that she had gained a lot from the cave mansion, was very happy, and invited Lu Changxing to a restaurant nearby to celebrate with a meal. Since he was a major client and it was within the marketplace, Lu Changxing accepted the invitation. When the wine was 3 parts in and their faces were peach blossom-like, Su Hongyu confided to Lu Changxing about the difficulties she faced as a loose cultivator, bringing the 2 of them closer together. The second visit was quite recent when she invited Lu Changxing to a loose cultivator meeting. She told Lu Changxing that apart from trading items and expanding one's connections, there was another implicit purpose to the meeting. It was for those loose cultivators who had little hope of reaching the foundation establishment stage and wanted to find a partner to start a cultivation family, to meet and socialize at such a gathering. She wished to invite Lu Changxing to join and take part in the festivities. Even though Lu Changxing was indeed somewhat curious and interested in the gathering. But having identified that the other party was fishing for something, naturally, Lu Changxing would not agree and rejected the offer politely. In the end, Su Hongyu could only leave with a look of deep, unspoken grievance, as if she was looking at a faithless lover. However, the battle-hardened Lu Changxing was unperturbed internally. Don't think he hasn't been honed by the matters of men and women over the years. However, it must be said, her appearance and figure, coupled with the seductive manner in her behavior, and the seeming willingness to express a degree of fondness, truly made her hard to refuse. It's a pity she met with the battle-hardened, wary Lu Changxing. That day, on the 3rd floor of the spiritual talisman shop, Lu Changxing, who was meditating with eyes closed and surrounded by 7 fierce strands of sword qi, suddenly opened his eyes. I have finally reached the 8th level energy refinement. Lu Changxing looked at the 7-colored Dan lake within his qi ocean core, his face revealing joy. This breakthrough came a bit faster than he had anticipated. Aside from sufficient elixir medicines, it was also due to the improvement of the spiritual root, dual cultivation, and several other reasons. My breakthrough to the 8th level energy refinement has immediately increased the limit of the profound origin bead. It truly is mysterious, Lu Changxing thought, as he looked at the 7-colored revolving treasure bead above his dantian. Following his breakthrough in realm, the profound origin bead also evolved, gaining an enhancement. This enhancement could continue until the peak of the foundation establishment stage. That would be the limit to the amplification ability of the profound origin bead. However, at this rate, it might take 5 to 6 years to break through to the 9th level energy refinement. The next moment, Lu Changxing shook his head, estimating his own cultivation speed. Even though this speed, for a 6th grade spiritual root, was already considered very fast. But to Lu Changxing it still felt a bit slow. After all, he had been in cultivation for less than 10 years. 6 days later, Lu Changxing suddenly received a message from the second elder, telling him to get ready. They would set off for Qingzhou Mountain in 3 days. As for the spiritual talisman shop, he had arranged for someone to take care of it temporarily. Second elder, what's going on? Lu Changxing immediately sensed something was amiss upon hearing the second elder's words. According to the schedule, the second elder would not return for another half-month. Moreover, he had never been in such a hurry to go back. I've received a family transmission. Many Lu family disciples who were out for training have been attacked. Moreover, recently, the Chen family directly assaulted the great elder in the mining area, gravely injuring him, so the family is recalling all personnel outside back to the clan, the second elder said gravely. The Chen family has taken action? Lu Changxing was somewhat surprised to hear this. He immediately realized that the conflict between the Chen family and the Lu family was about to erupt. This was no longer just a minor skirmish or friction. Multiple Lu family disciples were attacked, and even the great elder who was in charge of the mining area was directly severely wounded. This indicated that the Chen family was ready to face the Lu family head-on. That's right, the Chen family keeps provoking us. Although the Lu family has retaliated, it hasn't been enough to deter them. They know our ancestor is in bad shape, that's why they dare to act like this. The second elder said with a grim look. The Lu family had suffered a major loss more than a decade ago. They had yet to fully recover from that incident. This wave of attacks had killed many Lu family disciples, adding to the Lu family's troubles. After all, the continuation of the bloodline is very important for a cultivation family. Changxing, rest assured, our Lu family has stood tall on Qingzhou Mountain for hundreds of years. We have our own heritage and do not fear the Chen family, the second elder said, as if to relieve Lu Changxing's worries. Second elder, no matter what, I, Lu Changxing, will stand or fall with the Lu family. Lu Changxing didn't care whether the other party was trying to calm his heart. The Lu family was about to face a crisis, and he indeed could choose to hide away, living quietly in the Nine Dragons market. But his wives and children were all in the Lu family. He must return this time. Good, 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 the second elder said, looking relieved upon hearing this. It is said that time is the test of truth, and only through hardships do people's true hearts reveal themselves. Lu Changxing had been with the Lu family for only 10 years. Now that the Lu family was facing a crisis, exhibiting such a firm stance naturally made him feel he hadn't misjudged the man, feeling extremely gratified. He then told Lu Changxing to prepare, and that he would send someone to temporarily take charge of the spiritual talisman shop tomorrow. After the second elder left, Lu Changxing went to the 3rd floor to check his storage bag, and to see what preparations still needed to be made. 1st grade middle grade spirit talismans, 200, 1st grade superior talismans, 156, 1st grade supreme talismans, 119. 2nd grade lower grade spirit talismans, 57. 2nd grade middle grade spirit talismans, 8. Chapter 218, Danger. I must prepare for the worst. _4, a 2nd rank puppet, 2 1st grade middle grade puppets, and 4 1st grade lower grade puppets. 3 Thunderchild pellets, 1 set of black blood needles. 2 bottles of top grade 1st rank healing medicine. A bottle of burst chi elixir, which can immediately restore half of the spiritual power and also increase the cultivation level upon consumption. A bottle of spiritual divine elixir, taking it clears the mind and strengthens the mental spirit. As for magic artifacts, 2 top-grade items, and 5 superior-grade items, there seemed to be nothing else to supplement. Lu Changxing took inventory of his stock, pondering what else he might need to prepare. But after a moment's thought, it seemed there was nothing else to supplement. In terms of talismans, I have drawn them according to my needs, for attack, defense, trapping enemies, escaping, and healing, all are ready. With the spiritual divine elixir as a supplement, it's no problem to temporarily enhance my mental spirit and throw out a few hundred talismans if necessary. Moreover, now at the 8th level energy refinement with the profound origin bead, I dare not say I'm comparable to Foundation Establishment, but it wouldn't be an overstatement to claim invincibility below Foundation Establishment. Also, with the profound origin bead, if I fully exert the power of the golden light brick talisman treasure, I can unleash 70 to 80% of its power, which even a normal Foundation Establishment cultivator might not withstand. Lu Changsheng estimated his situation, feeling that even facing a Foundation Establishment great cultivator would not be a big problem. However, from beginning to end, he never worried about himself. What he always considered was how to ensure his wives and children were safe in times of danger. If Lu family is indeed breached at that time, with a second-rank puppet by my side, a talisman treasure in one hand, and a stack of second-rank talismans in the other, even foundation builders would probably make way. After all, without deep hatred and enmity, who would be willing to fight to the death? Lu Changsheng thought to himself, "What a pity I have never seen Ancestor Qin. Otherwise, I could have dealt with him directly using the Book of Malevolent Curses and Fates." However, the current situation of the Lu family isn't something that can be resolved by killing just Ancestor Qin. The problem lies within the Lu family itself. Even without the Qin family, the Yu family, the Bai family, and the Zheng family, as well as other cultivation families, would take action. After all, in the cultivation world, weakness is the original sin. Without strength, one simply can't protect a spiritual vein-blessed land. Lu Changsheng shook his head. He knew that even if Ancestor Qin died, it would not signify that the crisis of the Lu family had been resolved. In the end, the crisis of the Lu family stemmed from the imminent death of the Lu family ancestor. And because the Lu family had not produced a new Foundation Establishment great cultivator, it has been almost 2 years since Lu Yuanshan came back from the Purple Shadow secret realm. But for so long, there has been no reaction from the Lu family, no birth of a new Foundation Establishment great cultivator. Did they come back with nothing, or did the final breakthrough fail? Lu Changsheng murmured to himself. For an average cultivator, even with both Foundation Establishment elixirs and Foundation Establishment spirit objects, the chances of breakthrough are at most 50 to 60%. But how many people can gather both Foundation Establishment elixir and Foundation Establishment spirit objects? Most loose cultivators rely on 1 or 2 Foundation Establishment spirit objects. Many even take the risk without anything, gambling on a slim chance of breaking through. A cultivation family like the Lu family might have some foundation, but they can only guarantee 2 or 3 Foundation Establishment spirit objects. It's meaningless to keep worrying about a new Foundation Establishment for the Lu family now. I must prepare for the worst scenario. Lu Changsheng did not dwell on this matter. He began to simulate scenarios in his mind. If the Lu family ancestor died and a Foundation Establishment great cultivator came to kill, how he would respond with his wives and children. Whether to bring out the talisman treasure immediately or let the puppets engage in combat while he supported with talismans. Or whether, when he brought out the talisman treasure, if he simultaneously unleashed the power of his nurtured treasure bones, would there be a chance to directly slay a foundation builder? Lu Changsheng continually simulated and contemplated. Unfortunately, no one knew Lu Changsheng's thoughts at that time. Otherwise, they would be utterly dumbfounded and overwhelmingly shocked, thinking that he seemed to be preparing to eliminate someone else's family. Otherwise, why would he go to such lengths? Most cultivators seek benefits, who would fight a life-and-death battle without good reason. After all, isn't the purpose of cultivation to live well and more freely? However, the iron feather eagle, unable to avoid the streaks of light, let out a mournful cry. Blood splattered from its belly, and its wings flapped chaotically. This caused Lu Yuanhua, who was riding on the eagle, to pale. A jade bamboo staff appeared in the second elder's hands as he swept up Lu Yuanhua onto the flying boat, his face grave as he shouted loudly. "Who are you rogues, daring to ambush the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain?" His voice was cold and sonorous, dripping with authority. On this return trip, he had been vigilant the entire time. And although he had changed the original route, they still encountered an ambush. It's precisely the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain that we are ambushing. Let's end this quickly. 4 masked figures, maneuvering their flying artifacts, said in raspy voices. They immediately drove their artifacts, casting spells and talismans, attacking the flying boat. Yuanhua, you take control of the flying boat and hurry back to Qingzhou Mountain with everyone. Leave this to me. The second elder quickly instructed the Lu family manager. He then took out another flying artifact, stepped off the flying boat, and crushed a talisman, turning it into a golden light barrier around his body, wielding the bamboo staff to intercept the 4 assailants. All right. Lu Yuanhua promptly took over control of the flying boat without further words. He could tell at a glance that the 4 robber cultivators had come prepared, all possessing the strength of the energy refinement late stage. And among their group, aside from the second elder, only he was at the 7th level of energy refinement. The rest only possessed middle stage energy refinement strength. In such a situation, their side was clearly at a disadvantage. Second elder, take care. After Lu Yuanhua took control of the flying boat, he immediately steered it, carrying everyone, and flew swiftly towards Qingzhou Mountain. I'll hold them off. You 3 take the flying boat and quickly kill those Lu family youngsters, especially that Lu family talisman master. One of the 4 masked figures, the apparent leader with a raspy voice, instructed. He then charged at the second elder. Lu Yunhan, I'm eager to see how you're going to stop us. You know me, but who sent you here? The second elder's face was grim as he cast a green rainbow light from his jade bamboo staff, attempting to hold back the 4. But the speaking masked figure also slapped a giant palm, summoning a red pearl, with fiery light swirling around it. A fierce wind then arose, with flames engulfing the second elder. Seeing this, the other 3 masked figures immediately brought out a flying boat. They then boarded the flying boat and chased after Lu Changsheng and the others. Damn it! The second elder, recognizing the dire situation that they were fully prepared for the ambush, knew their target was the younger generation. But at that moment, he had no way to protect everyone and could only watch unwillingly as the pursuers chased after his family's flying boat. Could these 4 be the same 4 robber cultivators who previously ambushed Sister Miaoga? Lu Changsheng thought about what Lu Miaoga had said, that her severe injuries were caused by an ambush by 4 robber cultivators. Now, there were also 4 assailants who clearly came prepared for the Lu family, which made him suspect a connection. However, whether they were the same 4 or not, at the very least, the situation now looked unfavorable from Lu Changsheng's perspective. On the flying boat were 7 people, apart from Lu Yuanhua, who was at the 7th level of energy refinement. The other Lu family disciples were just at middle stage of energy refinement. With 1,000 li yet to Qingzhou Mountain, it seemed difficult for them to reach safety under the pursuit of 3 late-stage energy refinement cultivators. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 220, Lu Changsheng, do you know what happened to my sister? 3 masked figures in a flying boat pursued relentlessly. 2 of them commanded magic artifacts, unleashing spells, and bombarded the barrier of the flying boat steered by Lu Yuanhua, causing the boat's defensive light shield to dim gradually. This kind of flying boat was just an ordinary one, used for traveling, and it did not have strong defenses. No, if this continues, the flying boat simply won't hold up. Miaofeng, Miaoqing, you guys take turns controlling the boat, I'll draw one of them away. Seeing the situation, Lu Yuanhua's expression changed and he said through gritted teeth, Uncle Yuanhua, let me do it. I've got talismans from the 4th elder, and I might be able to use them to escape later. Lu Changsheng also spoke up. With so many people around right now, he couldn't conveniently reveal his true power. But once he got to a secluded place, he would have no such concerns. Just as long as he could draw one person away, with Lu Yuanhua present, the crisis for the Lu family members would be resolved. No, Changsheng, you're our Lu family's talisman master. You absolutely must not take risks. Hearing this, Lu Yuanhua didn't even think before he immediately rejected the idea. They obviously came prepared, targeting our Lu family. If you, Uncle Yuanhua, were to leave, returning to Qingzhou Mountain in the flying boat would be difficult. Moreover, even if you draw one away, facing two at the energy refinement late stage, we still might not be able to safely return to Qingzhou Mountain. Lu Changsheng said quickly. In his opinion, it would be simpler to draw the enemy away now than revealing his strength later when they were cornered. Uncle Yuanhua, Changsheng makes sense, but Changsheng, you can't take the risk either. Let me do it. At this moment, Lu Miaoqing bit his lip and stood up. Lu Changsheng was speechless. He offered to go out because he was confident in his own strength. You going out would be outright suicide. Probably couldn't even manage to draw them away. However, Lu Miaoqing stepping forward at this time made him see him in a new light. Brother Cheng, if you go, you're just marching to your death. I've already broken through to the 6th level energy refinement a few days ago, and I have a flying artifact that allows for a brief flight. Don't argue with me about this. Lu Changsheng didn't want to waste any more time. He slapped his storage bag and a stack of talismans appeared in his hand, at least 50 or 60 of them. He handed half of them to Lu Miaohuan, who was beside him, and said, Miss Miaohuan, keep these talismans for self-defense. After speaking, he activated a golden light barrier talisman and a wind-commanding charm on himself, threw out the flying artifact, and jumped off the flying boat. Changsheng! Lu Changsheng! But in this situation, they were completely helpless to assist. Even if he went now, it would just mean his death. Lu Changsheng, with all his spiritual power, propelled the flying artifact to its limits, streaking through the sky like a shooting star, zipping through the mountains below. After all, being in the air made him an easy target and was all too conspicuous. In this desolate mountain range, it was perfect for killing and hiding a body. They've all come after me? So their main target is me, or am I just a higher priority than the others? Lu Changsheng looked back at the flying boat behind him and was slightly surprised. He hadn't expected all 3 robber cultivators to give up chasing the others and come after him instead. After all, he had narrowly escaped from the hands of 3 individuals at the energy refinement late stage, and such a neat appearance did not seem consistent with his ordeal. I should return in 3 or 4 days, otherwise if I go back now, it would be a bit hard to explain. Lu Changsheng considered. He planned to add some marks of battle damage to his robe before going back. Then Lu Changsheng started to meditate to recover his spiritual power. His full use of the flying artifact and the release of 3 7 luminaries' sword beams had been a significant expenditure. He had used up half of his spiritual power. If not for the support of the profound origin bead, he would never have used his spiritual powers so recklessly. Chapter 222. Sister, Lu Changsheng is dead. _1 Qingzhou Mountain. Inside a grand hall. What? You say you were ambushed on your way back. The second elder was intercepted, and Changsheng, in order to lure the enemies away, was chased by 3 robber cultivators, and now his whereabouts are unknown. Lu Yuanding's expression darkened instantly upon hearing his daughter Lu Miaohuan's words. Yes, father, at that time, we were being chased by 3 energy refinement late-stage robber cultivators. Uncle Yuanhua tried to lead them away, but Changsheng, to ensure our safe escape, voluntarily left the flying boat, attempting to draw one away by himself. But in the end, all 3 robber cultivators went after Lu Changsheng. Lu Miaohuan said, her eyes red and her voice choked with emotion. All this time, the image of Lu Changxing stepping off the flying boat and standing on the magic artifact to lead the robber cultivators away kept reappearing in her mind. Regret and self-blame gnawed at her. Why hadn't she held on to Lu Changxing then? After all, being chased by 3 robber cultivators was certainly a death sentence. Family head, this is all my fault. I failed to protect Changxing. I am willing to accept punishment, said Lu Yuanhua, his face filled with self-reproach. The importance of Lu Changxing to the Lu family was now self-evident. As long as he continued to grow, he would be one of the core pillars of the Lu family in the future. But now, such a pillar of the future had been sacrificed because of them. This filled him with immense guilt and self-blame. Sigh. Lu Yuanding let out a heavy sigh, his heart weighed down with sorrow. He never expected such an unexpected event to occur. If Lu Changxing really had an accident, it would not only be a great loss to the Lu family. He also wouldn't know how to face the 4th elder. The ancestor once said, Lu Changxing is a man of great destiny. I hope he can turn calamity into blessing this time. Lu Yuanding could only hope so in his heart. But the thought of Lu Changxing being pursued by 3 robber cultivators made his mood even heavier. The prospect of Lu Changxing turning calamity into blessing, of escaping death, seemed incredibly slim. The matter of punishment can be set aside for now. The urgent task at hand is to retrieve and rescue the 2nd elder and search for Lu Changxing. Looking at his daughter with reddened eyes, her face full of sadness and grief, Lu Yuanding sighed softly and then turned to Lu Yuanhua and said this. He then told his daughter and the other Lu family disciples to rest and not to spread the news. He and Lu Yuanhua quickly left the grand hall. Lu Miaohuan, her eyes red, returned to the backyard of her family home with a grief-stricken and despondent face and sat down by the stone table, staring blankly into space. She knew these 4 robber cultivators, bold enough to ambush the 2nd elder's flying boat, were no ordinary foes. They might even be the same 4 who had ambushed her before. Under such circumstances, for Lu Changxing to escape unscathed from 3 robber cultivators was nearly impossible. Huan, don't cry. Changxing has a destiny protected by heaven, and he won't come to harm. Lu Miaoga bit her lip, consoling her sister. As he was about to apply a family rule to his wives, the 4th elder arrived. Grandmother! Grandmother! Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoyun both tidied their clothes a bit and came out to greet her. Chu Jinjin and the other women also followed suit, greeting her with respect. Changxing, I'm relieved that you're all right, said the 4th elder, who had also heard that Lu Changxing had returned and came over to check. Seeing that Lu Changxing was fine, she too felt relieved. With Lu Miaoyun and all the other women present, she didn't inquire into how Lu Changxing had escaped being pursued. She simply chatted for a while and then went to see the grandchildren. On a mountain peak thousands of miles away from 9 Dragons Market. What's going on? It's been 2 days already, why haven't they arrived? Could something have happened? Does the Lu family secretly have a master hidden among them? She turned her head too, and immediately saw her father. Instantly she felt a wave of embarrassment. She hadn't expected her father to witness her hugging Lu Changxing, and she immediately let go of him, hanging her head. It seems my earlier concerns were unnecessary. Lu Yuanding, seeing the scene, shook his head slightly and pretended not to have seen it, turning back around. He had not expected his daughter's relationship with Lu Changxing to have progressed to this extent. At the same time, he felt that Lu Changxing was not as simple as he appeared. "It's all your fault." Lu Miaohuan, seeing her father pretending not to have seen and turning back, told Lu Changxing a bit irritably. She didn't dare say much more to Lu Changxing and hurried home. P.S. I'm very sleepy, will make up the word count during the day. Alas, I don't really like writing this kind of plot either. You probably find it stiff, and am struggling over every word. But it feels like even as an emotionless sewing machine, the story has come to this point, and it's inevitable for the two sisters to wrap things up, so I have to write a bit. You're tuning in to the Wandering Hero YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.